Light is a cheerful teenager who has always dreamt of becoming a successful adventurer so that he can give his family a life of luxury. To achieve his goal, he leaves his small village and heads to the city to register as an adventurer. But things are not easy for him. In this world, the goddess created 9 races, and humans are considered the lowest among them. As a result, they are always at the receiving end of racism, and Light experiences that as soon as he steps foot in the city. A beastman adventurer rudely tells him to get off the road, and Light can only apologize even though he wasn't really blocking his way. Anyway, once he reaches the guild, he registers himself as an adventurer, and the receptionist tells him that newcomers like him receive the F rank initially. She asks if he has a gift that can play a role in his assessment, and Light eagerly affirms. He tells her that his gift is called Unlimited Gacha, and he can basically pull stuff out of his ass. Since explaining is not enough, Light decides to demonstrate and summons his Gacha device, which he immediately activates. The Gacha rolls out a fork card, and as Light releases the card, a fork materializes on the table. However, the fork is all bent up, and Light panics. He tells the receptionist that things usually work out better and immediately uses his skill a couple of times, but the result is similar. He pulls a rotten apple and a moldy bread, which makes the receptionist convinced that this loser deserves nothing more than F rank. Light gladly receives it and then asks her if there are any jobs he can take right away. The receptionist points him towards the bulletin board where all the easy jobs are posted, but Light gets nervous just upon seeing that. The receptionist realizes that Light is illiterate on top of being a loser. But that part is not a surprise because humans have low literacy rates. She tells him that he can do the basic stuff like carrying rocks and gathering wood, but that pays a lot less than other jobs. Light accepts that, and after a day of working his ass off, he manages to get enough money to rent a room. He still needs to rely on his gacha skill for food, but he is confident that he can make it. However, a gang of beastmen has another plan for him, and they stand in his way deliberately so that he bumps into them. Their leader immediately begins yelling at Light for bumping into him and getting his clothes dirty. Before taking away his purse, Light panics, asking him to return the money because he won't have a place to stay otherwise, but the wolfman simply punches him away, telling him that he needs to pay for his laundry. The beastmen leave Light lying in a puddle of mud, and everyone who passes by tells him to sleep in the dirty slums with the rest of the humans. Light feels really hopeless at this point, but then suddenly, someone stretches a helping hand towards him. He instinctively takes the hand of the pretty elf in front of him, but realizes 1 second later that his own hand was covered in mud. Light falls back, apologizing to the elf for dirtying her hand, but she tells him that it is fine. She assures him that she won't hurt him, but years of racism and discrimination doesn't let him believe that. To prove her point, the elf woman suddenly kneels down and hugs him, and Light is left speechless. Even as the people on the road mock the elf for stooping so low for the sake of a human, she helps Light back on his feet. Behind the elf, there is a group with people from different races, and they introduce themselves as the party named Concord of Tribes. They explain that they are a party formed with one member from each species that the goddess created, and they were missing a human. The beastman Garu introduces himself first, followed by the elf woman Sasha, who tells Light about the rest of their members. There is Drago the Dragonute, the demon Diablo, the Oni Oboro, the dark elf Sion, the dwarf Nano, and the centaur named Santor. Guru says that they were just looking for a human to complete their party, and then Sion adds that they created this party to end racism and create a world where everyone is treated equally. Light finds this too good to believe, but he can't pass up on such a wonderful seeming party, and he gladly joins the Concord of Tribes. Soon, they start going on adventures, and Light is the weakest link in their team. He needs to be rescued from monsters by Drago and Sasha, who tell him to be more careful as one hit from the monsters will kill him. Light apologizes for his carelessness, but Sasha begins to examine him for injuries while telling him to stay behind them at all times. The rest of the party begins to tease Sasha because she is low-key obsessed with Light and cares about him a lot, and she turns red as she explains that she only sees him as a party member. Light feels useless because he can't do anything apart from carrying the luggage, but Drago tells him that he makes delicious tea, and that is good enough for him. Light is really happy to hear this, and he cheerfully follows the team deeper into the dungeon. Soon, they come to an open space with only one entry and exit, and the party members look at each other before deciding that this is the perfect place for their plan. Unaware of what the plan is, Light begins preparing to brew tea for everyone when Drago approaches him and tells him that he is being fired from the party. Light can't even process that statement and asks what did he even do to get kicked from the party. and the beastman Garu tells him that he is being fired because doesn't do anything. Everyone tells Light how useless and stupid he is, and even Sasha acts disgusted at him. The rest of the party start throwing insults at Light and the human race. Light thinks that this has got to be some kind of prank, but they tell him that no one has got free time to play pranks on a worthless piece of trash like him. He asks why they were behaving so nicely with him till now in that case, and they reply that it was just acting. Drago tells him that their superiors noticed his gift, Unlimited Gacha, and thought that he could be a maestro. That's why they ordered the Concord of Tribes to keep a close eye on them. But once they determined that Light's gift was worthless and he couldn't be a maestro, they gave the signal to dispose of him. Sasha is the one who is most relieved that they no longer have to keep Light around, because if he was actually a maestro, she would have to marry him, and just the thought of that creeps her out. Light can't understand what the word maestro even means, but then Drago says that they have told him more than enough, and they need to finish him off before more adventurers come here. Garu immediately apes Wolverine and draws his metal claws, using them to slice Light's face. Only now does Light realize that he is really in deep shit, and there is no way out of this problem. In his desperation, he runs away as fast as he can, and the racist bastards laugh at him, saying that they are not going to let him get away. Sasha shoots an arrow through his leg, and as Light falls on the ground and starts screaming, the racist elves say that hearing human screams is like music to their ears. Garu decides to make Light scream some more and begins assaulting him, but Drago tells him to stop because they need to make it look like the human died from a monster ambush. Garu obeys his orders and gets ready to finish him off, but Light crawls forward, desperately clinging to his life. Suddenly, the ground beneath him starts glowing and Light realizes that he is in the middle of a teleportation circle. Drago notices it too and orders Garu to finish him off quickly, but before he can reach Light, the teleportation circle does its job and takes him away. However, the situation doesn't get much better for Light even after he is saved from the backstabbing traders. The teleportation trap takes him to a random location in the dungeon, and he knows that the moment a monster finds him, he is dead. He begins to remember his family as he wonders what did he do to deserve being betrayed. He thinks about how nicely everyone treated him before they decided to backstab him. He now understands that their kind behavior was just an act, so he would completely believe them, and they showed their real colors at the end. He is really furious and channels his rage to become a reason to survive. He gets up, swearing that he will get revenge on those bastards and tear them apart with his own hands. Well, before he can throw out more cuss words at them, Light hears a low growl coming from behind him, and as he turns around, he finds a level 1000 monster glaring at him. He freaks out on seeing the monster because it is something straight out of a fairy tale. Light realizes that he was teleported to the lowest floor of the dungeon, and he low-key had a better chance of surviving his party than this monster. As he wonders how can he even fight the monster, his thoughts wander to his gift Ultimate Gacha, and he decides to take his chances. He begins pressing the Gacha button repeatedly, and then suddenly, his ordinary gift transforms into something beyond his wildest imagination. A giant magic circle appears below him, and the Gacha device starts undergoing a power-up. Light doesn't understand anything, but just as the monster leaps on him, the Gacha roll is completed. A level 90999 maid servant appears out of it and demolishes the monster in an instant. Everything is over before Light could even blink, and then the aura farming maid starts walking towards him. She kneels before him and instantly heals his wounds, telling him that she could not bear to see his silky smooth skin being injured, so she healed him without asking for permission. Light can't believe that he is perfectly fine now, and then the maid asks him for his name. He introduces himself as Light, and the maid gets really happy on learning his name. She pledges by the maid's code of honor, swearing to serve him till death. Light tells her that it is all cool, but she should at least give her name first. The girl introduces herself as May, the ever-seeking maid, and tells Light that she came from a super-ultra-rare card in his unlimited gacha. Well, Light refuses to believe that a level 999 maid would come out of his worthless gift, but May asks permission to use her appraisal skill on his gift, so read the finer details. He immediately grants her the permission, and May uses her sharing in to find that his abilities are hidden under a very strong concealment, and anyone below her level can't even see them. She tells Light that his ultimate gacha is much more useful than he thinks. The cards it rolls highly depend on the mana density of his location, and as it turns out, there is another rarity class beyond May's super ultra rarity. May explains that the mana density of the surface is really poor, but in the depths of the dungeon, the air is full of mana, which allowed her to pull her. She commends Light's bravery in coming to the depths of the dungeon alone to unleash the full potential of her gift, and he tells her that he is a loser who couldn't even get near the dungeon on his own. He begins crying as he tells her how his party betrayed him in the dungeon. He starts whining and about how they promised they wanted to create a world free of discrimination just to trick him, and then swears to get vengeance on them. May suddenly hugs him, saying that she can't understand what he has been through, but she will do whatever he wants, and destroying the bastards who hurt him won't be too difficult for her. However, Light tells her that she can't do it, and it is not because he is kind. He just wants to get revenge with his own hands, but it is not possible right now because he is too weak. He swears that he will make all of them suffer before killing them, and May kneels before him again, telling him that if he wants to grow strong enough to get revenge, she will help him with that. She tells him that she believes in his potential, and Light can only thank her. However, he is not satisfied with just one overpowered baddie in his harem and decides to use the mana-rich environment of the dungeon even more. He uses his unlimited gacha again, summoning more high-class maids so that he can create a kingdom that will serve as the base for his grand revenge. 3 years pass by since that fateful day, and now Light rules over hundreds of maids inside a palace that he made for himself. May is always by his side as she promised on the day that she met him. All the maids seem to be totally smitten by him as they cheer him on, happy to be noticed by him, while May tells them all to behave properly. He gets out of the castle and starts moving towards the local market where everyone recognizes him as one of the vendors calls him over to his place for breakfast, while some others tell him about the shortage of snack foods in the country. Light promises to deal with the problem soon, while May tells him not to worry with such small tasks as she will make sure the logistic problem is rectified as soon as possible. Light realizes that he will have to create a new system for dealing with the logistics since the population of this place has increased several folds over the last 3 years. He asks May where are the rest of his legendary summons, and May replies that Yuki the Beast Tamer is busy crafting maps of the area near the dungeons, scouting the forests for any trouble. Light thinks about all the monsters roaming around in the forests, but knows that they would pose no trouble to a genius beast tamer like her. May continues by claiming that Ellie the mage is hard at work, trying to create the special magic in line with his grand plan. Light wonders whether Ellie will be able to deal with this, since there are so many complexities in the magic spells that he asked her to create. Light asks after Naz the vampire knight, who is excellent at close combat, but a little bit of a dumbass in other areas. May replies that she gave her the job to patrol the castle grounds as that would keep her from using her empty brain and getting herself into any sort of trouble. Light doesn't mind her though, since she makes things more interesting around the castle. Soon they return back to the castle, where Light ends up being called by Jack, the last of his 4 legendary summons, who asks whether Light is ready for some training. May seems a little annoyed and tells Jack that he should address Light by his proper pronouns, which is master. But Jack is a true Sigma who doesn't believe in this feminist bullshit, so he completely ignores her. Light tells May that it's fine since he considers Jack to be an older brother, and tells May that he thinks he will go to his training session with Jack now. Inside the training ground, they both get ready to spar when, with a burst of speed, Light rushes towards his summon, punching him straight in his washboard abs, pushing him back with his surprising strength. Jack seems to be pleased with Light's power, claiming that any normal adventurer would have died if he got punched like that, but he can take it since he is built like a tank and can absorb a crazy amount of damage. They meet in the middle of the ground once again with punches colliding before they back off. Light follows it up with a barrage of strikes, which Jack dodges. Meanwhile, Naz is still patrolling the corridors, bouncing her empty little head, when she is greeted by some of the other maids, who start sweet-talking her, claiming that they all feel safe since Naz is always there patrolling, and making sure that there is no danger lurking around the corner. Naz becomes overjoyed, which is what the maids wanted, as they decide to play a prank on her as they suggest that she should go and make sure that Light's bedchambers are secured and nothing wrong is going on there. Naz thinks of it as a terrific idea and heads towards the bedroom. But when she tries to open it, May emerges from within. Naz asks May what she was doing inside Light's bedroom since he must be away at training at this time. May immediately starts blushing, claiming that she was trying to clean the room while he was away. Naz tells her that she must check the room for any danger, but before May could tell her off, Naz enters the room and notices the bed being all ruffled. She empty-headedly claims that it looks like someone was on the bed sniffing the pillows and rolling around, and asks May whether she made it look like that intentionally. May decides to use her dumb brain to her advantage and confidently claims that it's her special bed-making style. Naz gets impressed by this and asks whether she can learn how to do that as well, but May refuses, claiming that it's a special trade secret which she can't reveal yet. With that, Naz remembers that the maids wanted her to give May their message as well, so she takes out a parchment and gives it to May, who realizes that the other maids are revolting against her for monopolizing Light's bedroom and never letting them clean it for a change. May tells Naz not to worry about it, as she will deal with the maids herself, and even gives Naz some spare change to keep her mouth shut, which she happily takes and walks off. She immediately heads out to the market and starts looking at all the food items she can get from the money, but finally decides to try out the fluffy pancakes alongside some fresh milk. With that, she happily marches off once again back to the castle, where she finds Yuki sitting atop a balcony. She asks Yuki whether her work inside the forests is done, and tired of Naz's crap. She shows her that she has already created the map that May wanted and is back to deliver it. Naz congratulates her and returns back to her patrol duty before entering the throne room. Once inside the tacky area, she starts screaming her heart out, since there is no one around to stop her. After that, she jumps on the throne itself and starts messing with it when she accidentally breaks one of the wings of an angel statue. Scared of May, she immediately puts it back haphazardly and runs for her life straight out the throne room. Back inside the training ground, Light and Jack continue clashing when Jack suggests that they be done with the day and hit the baths. They soon move towards the bathroom, and once inside the giant bathtub, Jack praises Light for learning all the skills so quickly, claiming that he is strong enough that most of the creatures in the dungeons would be child's play for him, which means that even few can challenge him on the surface, but warns him that there are still some who would want to completely destroy him the first chance they can get. Light gets serious as he thinks about the betrayal he faced 3 years ago, as he claims that he won't be done till he gets his revenge. Back in May's chambers, she calls in the 4 troublesome maids and asks what the hell is their problem as she reads their letter back to them. Once in front of May herself, the 4 maids are shut silent as they don't know what to say. They apologize to her, claiming that it was just their way of showing support as they know May is overworked. May tells them not to worry about her work and focus on their own. She denies their request to clean Light's chamber and instead punishes them by giving them the order to clean the hallway that leads to the throne room by hand. The maids are surprised by this, claiming that the hallway is too long, but May tells them to keep at it, as it will keep them busy while she is out with Light on a mission. Back outside, Naz is stuck to the window of a shop, eyeing a gauntlet that she wishes to buy, but has no money to do so. While there, she ends up bumping into Ellie, who asks what Naz is staring at, and Naz points at the gauntlet before asking Ellie why is she back so soon, since she is supposed to overlook the new construction which is happening. Ellie replies that the construction is going smoothly, so she decides to sneak a break-in. They soon end up bickering about who is closer to Light and who is more important, as Ellie tells Naz that she is involved directly in the revenge plan that Light is crafting. Unlike her, Ellie also claims that she recently had a lovely evening where she shared a cup of tea with Light where they discussed their progress, and claims that the next time they meet, she will set up a private dinner. Naz claims that even she wants to have tea with the master, before telling Ellie that she is at close quarters combat, so if she ever wants help, she can look her up. Ellie smiles and tells her that she will surely cash that in someday, and with that Naz returns back to her brainless duty. Back in the castle, the 4 maids are busy plotting against May, claiming that May is no better than the angry little mustache man from Germany, wondering whether they should go behind her back and snitch on her to Light. But they think better of it, as none of them want to suffer her wrath. One of them realizes that Light cares about May so much because she was his very first summon, while the purple-haired one claims that it took Light the next 2 months to finally summon Yuki, which means that they were all alone together in the dungeons for 2 whole months. They get incredibly jealous and start rolling around the floor and doing weird out of jealousy, before deciding to do some voodoo magic as they sit on the table and chant die so that May can be taken out of the equation. Unfortunately for them, May ends up overhearing all this and enters their room, cornering them once again. The maids immediately start apologizing, claiming that they were all just a little jealous and never meant anything that they said. May tells them to stop fantasizing about weird since during the months between her being summoned and Yuki being summoned, Light was busy learning every single thing he can about magic and practicing every single martial art he could try, so they never had time to do anything else. That relieves the maids a bit, while May claims that she came back here because she felt that she had been too hard on the maids, but now she realizes that apparently she wasn't, so she tells them to clean the throne room as well. since they have enough time on their hand to practice voodoo magic. Completely at May's mercy, the maids had no choice but to follow her orders as they cleaned the entire throne room as well. They decided to keep their mouths shut this time to avoid getting in further trouble. But while dusting the throne, the green-haired idiot ends up knocking the piece of angel wing which was broken by Naz. The piece falls to the floor and the maids get horrified, thinking that it was their fault and wondering what May will do to them. The next morning, Light enters the dungeon only to find Naz, Ellie and Yuki already waiting for him. He bids them good morning while Naz and Ellie already start bickering. Suddenly, though, a monster emerges from the shadows and suddenly Light freezes as he realizes that it's a hellhound. He knows that he is much stronger than before, but the trauma from that day still haunts him as his blood dries up every time he sees the beast. His party, however, has no fear, as they all get enraged at the fact that the hellhound got Light all upset. Naz gets ready to chop it into small pieces, while Ellie asks for permission to eradicate the entire species of hellhounds from this world, and Yuki wonders whether she could somehow find hell and push this monster directly into the deepest pits. Just their aura sends the monster whimpering back as it realizes just how outmatched it is. Light, however, calms his party down as he regains his composure and slowly moves towards the monster. Giving it a pat, he knows that even if he gave the order jokingly, his legendary summons would actually eradicate the entire race from the world. He then turns towards them, claiming that they need to move towards the surface as they are going to begin their plan of revenge today. Back on the surface, the beast folk bow down to the furry who was the part of that party which betrayed Light and left him for dead. He seems to have been raised to a local celebrity as people literally beg him to hook up with their sisters. He walks alongside his cronies like a total boss when he notices a human child sniffing through garbage to find anything he could eat. The furry is a huge racist though, and for no reason at all decides to throw the kid away, telling him to run off and never be seen in this area again if he cares for his life. The other beast folk cheer for him like idiots, but the sound dies when he enters the tavern. He selects the best seat and tells his cronies to order as much stuff as they want since he has made fat stacks which he needs to spend before the IRS raids him. While humans are starving outside, these furries get skewers of meat loaded on a huge tray. They all praise him for becoming an idol for all the beast folk, even though he himself was born in the gutters and rose from the slums to become the leader who everyone wants to follow. He tells them brazenly that it's not so easy to become like him, since he has mastered the art of persuasion, and since beast folks are instinctually born followers, he just needs to exploit that properly and then he can live like a king. He claims that the most important part is to sort out the jobs and decide which ones are profitable and which ones require a lot of effort for not so much money and power. One of the idiot furries asks him whether the job he handled 3 years ago with the Concord of 12 party was a profitable one. Another furry scolds him for asking questions, and the wolf beast tells them that unfortunately the Federation that hired them has made them swear to secrecy, so they can't really divulge any information about that. He remembers how that was the cushiest and the best paying job that he ever accepted, since all he had to do was kill one useless little loser of a human kid, and now he is rich and famous. It does bother him, though, that he never figured out where the portal led to, but he doesn't think that there is even a sliver of chance that Light could have survived it. He wonders what exactly this maestro was which the Federation was so hellbent on finding, but he feels a shiver run down his spine, which means that digging the matter deeper could be dangerous. His thoughts are broken by a beautiful girl who turns out to be May, when she interrupts them and asks whether they can talk. She asks whether he is the Garrow, the leader of the beast folks, and he takes a sip from his glass before nodding his head. May lies to him that she was the maid of Master Light, who belongs to a family of noble descent. Garrow is shocked to hear that Light was a member of the nobility and wonders whether it would have been more profitable for him if he kept him alive. May continues to lie by saying that she has been searching for Light for the past 3 years, and all the information has led her to this country, where he was last seen with a new party. Garrow replies that he was a member of that party and Light was indeed with them, and this makes May's eyes well up, as she lies that she heard Light perished in the dungeons and was never seen again. Garrow nods, claiming that it is the truth. Light met an unfortunate and died, but May asks him whether he could take her to that location, as it would bring her some solace to find the place where Light was last alive. Garrow rudely asks what's in it for him, and to his surprise, May puts down a bag with 3 solid gold bars in it. The cronies around him are shocked and speechless, but Garrow controls his expressions, as he wonders whether this is some sort of a trap, or does this girl really just want an escort to take her into the dungeons. He decides to go with it though, since he believes that one singular human girl can't even touch his hair, let alone pose him a threat. Garo finally takes her to the dungeons with all his cronies as an escort, and after several hours of walking, asks May whether she is okay. May looks exhausted, but smiles, claiming that she can still walk. Garo thinks about how all these amazing jobs seem to fall in his lap, as he is going to take all the gold from her and ravish her on top of Light's grave. Finally, they enter the cavern where Light was discarded and left for dead, and Garo tells May that this is where Light met with an accident. He lies that a group of monsters got the drop on them and Light never got the time to run to safety and was slashed up to pieces and was then caught in a teleport trap, after which he was never seen again. May falls to her knees, crying while Garo thinks about how inferior these humans are who can't even sense when they are in danger. His cronies start taking their positions, blocking the only exit out, while he continues heartlessly lying about how he tried to save him, but wasn't able to, just when he was getting ready to attack. May's voice changes as she claims that only the most vile creatures on Earth could mislead a pure-hearted person like Light, bring him into a grimy dungeon, and then betray him. She looks around, knowing that if she came into Light's service a bit earlier, he would have never been kicked, shot in the leg with an arrow, and beaten to an inch of his life. Garo immediately feels the threat and jumps back, wondering how the hell does this woman know about all this. His cronies look confused as they don't know the true extent of this, but Garo knows that the only people who could know about what happened are the 12 members of his party and some of the nation's elites. He demands to know who she is working for, asking whether she is a spy being sent by an enemy tribe. She scoffs at him, claiming that she only works for Light and now he will face her wrath. Just the energy erupting from her is enough to scare him, which is a surprise even to himself. He reminds herself that she is just an inferior human who is good for nothing but using and then throwing off, but she sends chills down his spine just by looking at him. He realizes that this is not a joke, as his instincts are telling him that he will die if he fights her. Before May could finish them off, however, Light's voice comes out of the dark corner as he tells May to calm down as he will deal with Garo all by himself. Garo refuses to believe the voice that he is hearing, but Light finally reveals himself, greeting Garo as if they were long-lost friends, claiming that he is here to pay him back for what he did 3 years ago. Garo immediately seems to gain his confidence back, as he laughs, claiming that he never thought he would see Light again, and mocks him, telling him that a level 15 puny human can do nothing against a level 150 raid boss like him. He laughs, as he tells him that he has no idea how the hell he survived, but now he can kill him with his own hands and bring his body as proof. Light lets out a sigh, asking whether he is not even curious about who May is and how strong she is. Garo accepts that he has no idea how strong his little maid is, but he is damn sure that puny humans could never compare to beast folk like them. He boasts that all of his cronies are above level 130 and they will simply steamroll through them. With that, he gives the command to attack, and 2 of his underlings immediately dash towards Light, ready to end his life, but within the blink of an eye, May appears in front of them and their heads fall to the ground at one place, while their lifeless body drops to the floor. She warns that anyone who tries to threaten Light will lose his head, but Light tells her to back off and simply block all the exit points since he wants to get involved in the fun as well. Garo's boys seem to be losing morale, as they can't believe what they just saw, but Garo tries to steady them, claiming that it was just a cheap trick that she used and nothing else. Light asks whether he still truly thinks that humans are inferior to them, and has he ever considered that maybe the human race is the strongest among all the races. Garo laughs at this, flexing his level, but Light replies that level is just a number, and it has nothing to do with how strong someone can be. Garo has heard enough though, and alongside all his cronies, lunges in for an attack. But to his surprise, Light stands there still as water before suddenly exploding into a counterattack, blocking and hitting every single dog, knocking them down on their out of breath. Light walks up to Garo, asking whether he still thinks humans are weaker, but Garo can't accept this humiliation, so he pushes through the pain and jumps up once again, claiming that there is no way any human could match him. With that, he rips out a magic crystal from his pocket and smashes it on the floor, summoning his familiar, who turns out to be a level 500 wolf monster. Light asks whether that's all he could muster up, but Garo thinks that Light is just too stunned and scared to respond properly. He tells Light to start begging for his life, but Light simply stands there, telling him to attack, promising not to move a single inch from where he is standing. Garo gets enraged and orders his beast to fire a blast at Light, so concentrated that it could wipe an entire city. But as the dust clears, His jaw drops to the floor. He spots Light standing still, just like he said he would, without a single scratch on his body. Light mocks him for giving his attack such a fancy name when all it did was kick up dust for no reason. Garo is left speechless, while his cronies start pissing their pants. Light claims that now he is going to attack and decides to pull out a card as if he was in Yu-Gi-Oh! He releases the level 9000 ultra rare card of the Primal Wolf God, which appears behind him all shiny and translucent, leaving the furries shocked beyond any reason. With that, Light tells the Wolf God to kill Garo's familiar, but instead of firing a super strong blast at them, all the Wolf God does is let out a soft breath. The power within that breath crystallizes Garo's wolf and shatters it to pieces right in front of him. While he stands there helpless, Garo finally loses it, unable to believe that his level 500 wolf monster got demolished within a second. But Light claims that he could have dealt with the monster himself if he wanted to as well, and to prove that, he reveals his true level, which turns out to be maxed at 9999. Garo stammers and shakes as he claims that this can't be possible since humans max out at level 100, and if Light was really the same human from back then, he would have grown up a bit during this time. Light reveals that he is using an age ring to stop his physical growth because he wants to remember himself and the day when he got betrayed by the worst scum on Earth. Garo realizes that he is done for, and has absolutely zero chance of ever defeating the monstrosity that Light has become. He knows that he is dead meat, so he does what any coward would do and throws down his weapons, apologizing to him for what he did, claiming that he was forced to do that because of the Federation. He claims that even today he had no intentions to harm anyone and was going to tell the truth, but his cronies made this plan all on their own and dragged him into it. His underlings can't believe that this is the same person who is showing off his skills and strength just this morning. He bows his head down and begs for forgiveness, and even agrees to be his personal pet if Light wants. Light, however, doesn't care and simply asks him what exactly is a maestro and why is the government so hellbent on finding him. Garo honestly replies that he has no idea who it is, and the government simply told them that it is probably going to be a human. Light then asks why they decided to kill him once they thought he was not the maestro. Garo immediately bows down, claiming that he seriously has no idea and they just got the order to do so. Light turns his attention towards the cronies and asks whether they have any information. To save their skin, the underlings all start claiming that they have the information that Light wants, but May uses her special eye to see through their lies and cuts them down to pieces, spilling blood everywhere as she claims that anyone who lies in front of Light will die at her hands. He then turns towards Garo once again, asking whether he has any chance of winning if he went to the surface and waged war. Garo honestly replies that he is extremely strong and could take entire nations alone, but once the nations band together with all the weapons that they are collecting, then he might have a hard time dealing with since he is only one man with a maid. Light smiles, claiming that he wants to show him something and uses teleportation magic to transport them to his own throne room. Garo is shocked to the limit of becoming mentally deranged as he sees the army that Light has amassed, with the lowest pawn being level 1500 with 4 level 9999 maids and countless others ranging from level 6000 to level 9000. Garo is unable to speak as a tear drops from his face as he realizes that Light could wipe out the entire planet in the blink of an eye, which basically makes him a god, and wonders what would happen once the war is waged. A couple months pass by when Light finally comes out from the abyss of the dungeons, and alongside his party, he goes to visit his old village, in hopes of showing his family that he has in fact become a person who is strong enough to take care of them forever. When he finally reaches his village though, his eyes, which were filled with joy and longing for home, gets filled with shock and horror as he witnesses the state of destruction that his entire village is in. He runs towards the village, unable to believe his own eyes, and falls to the ground, completely hopeless. May and the others soothe him down and promise to take revenge on whoever did this to his village. The only saving grace or shred of hope he got was for the fact that while searching the village, they never found the dead bodies of his family among the other dead villagers. So he still sat on the hope that his family might have escaped the bloodshed and maybe still hiding somewhere in this country. A couple weeks have passed by since that incident, and Light decides to revisit the destroyed village once again. He wanted to assess everything with a calm mind, since last time he was so mentally destroyed that he might have missed some important details which might give him a clue as to what happened to his family. This time he is accompanied by an armored knight called Gold, and a gray-haired assassin named Nem. The sight of the village once again fills him with dread, but he stays composed and with the help of his companions, creates a bunch of graves for the dead villagers. He puts flowers on the graves, while realizing that this is definitely the job of a party of adventurers from some other race. While he was deep in thought, Gold starts complaining about how they need to get a move on soon, as otherwise they would have to sleep out in the open tonight. Nem gets mad at him, claiming that Light is in mourning, and they should give him all the time he needs. Gold tells Nem that he would go to the peaks of ice-clad mountains and to the depths of the deepest hell for Light, but he also knows that they need to find a safe place to rest which would be comfortable for him in the state of mourning. Nem can't argue with that, and this little argument seems to lighten Light's mood, who smiles and gets up, telling them to chill out as he is feeling fine. He claims that they would soon find some accommodation, but first they should gather some more intel. They already know that their forces are enough to take on the entire world, but Light still thinks that they should walk with caution and not be too eager to wage an all-out war. Gold agrees with that, claiming that you should know your enemy just as well as you know yourself if you want to win a war without a mess. Light agrees with that, claiming that they should ascertain the strengths of all the different nations first. And alongside that, he also thinks that the raid on his village might have something to do with the fact that he might be a potential maestro. The fact that the secret society which once put a death sentence on him would go so far as to kill everyone in his village makes him enraged, as he promises to burn the entire world to the ground just to uproot all the evil from it. Nem is shocked by the aura emanating from Light, but Gold calms him down, telling him that he must keep his anger in check while they are in the city, as they don't want to commit a massacre yet. This snaps Light back to reality, and he calms himself down before pulling out an ugly-looking edgy little mask as they get ready to enter the city. They start flying towards the city of Dagas, and on the way there, Nem asks Light about their plans once inside the city. Light tells them that they need to maintain a low profile at the start so that the Concord of 12 don't get suspicious of them, and they need to register in the Adventurers Guild. Once registered, they will increase the rank of their party as much as possible. Since the higher rank their party is, the more intel they will be able to get from people who either want their help or from people who want to gain their favor and protection. Gold replies that the plan is excellent, but asks whether they should walk from here on out, otherwise they will immediately stick out as a sore thumb. Light agrees, and they decide to come back to the ground and continue on foot. While walking through the forest though, they overhear a bunch of shouts coming from the front and realize that a bunch of dwarves have completely surrounded a man and his daughter, ready to rob them. The dwarves notice Gold's shiny armor and tell them to come out in the open, and Light finally gives his servants the order to deal with these little midgets. Nem makes light work of the dwarves, who are in shock, tied to each other in the middle of the forest, while as a gesture of thanks, the man offers them a ride till the city of Dagas. The little girl seems really impressed by them, as she has never heard of a human besting a dwarf in combat, and the man agrees that it is very rare to find humans that strong. He asks Light whether they are a famous party of adventurers, but Light honestly replies that they aren't even registered yet, which actually shocks the man. Regardless, he tells Light that he has come to the right place if he wants to start a new party, as the city of Dagas is built on the border of the Dwarf Kingdom, which is attached to both the human and the elven kingdoms. This results in a huge variety of dungeons and adventurers in this area, which results in lots of disputes but lots of trade as well. It's also very popular with the humans, but since humans are often discriminated against at many places, he himself runs an inn where people of all races are given equal respect. Light and his party get down from the cart at the entrance of the town and thank the man, who tells them to call him Colonel and invites them over to his inn if they decide to stay the night. Once inside the city, they start taking in all the bustle and glamour, with shops at every corner selling arms and armor, while forges light up the streets with dwarves making swords and shields inside. After taking in the splendor of the city, they make their way to the Adventurers Guild, where they enter a big hall filled with people grouped around quest boards. And Light notices that a lot of humans adventurers also seem to be here, but the racism still seems to exist even here as they make way for the adventurers of other races. For now, Light decides to ignore that and heads up straight to the registration desk, whether they are given rank F. Nem gets enraged at this, telling the woman at the desk that she needs to fix her attitude if she doesn't want someone else to fix it for her. She tells the receptionist to recheck the rank, as Light is incredibly strong and deserves to be S rank at the very least. The receptionist, however, doesn't really give a and tells her to back her smelly human self away and accept the rank which is given to them. Before Nem could say anything though, Light stops her and apologizes to the receptionist, taking the rank graciously and walking out. Once outside, Nem starts apologizing to Light since she messed everything up, but Light tells her to calm down and takes his party to Colonel's inn. Colonel is happy to see them once again and asks what he could do for them. Light claims that he has an unusual request and asks to rent out the entire upper floor of the inn for one entire month, during which no one else apart from him and his party are allowed to go there, not even the members of the staff off the inn. He apologizes in advance for any problems that it might cause, but claims that it is important. He then takes out a bag filled with gold coins and hands it over as the payment, but Colonel refuses it, claiming that he could never take money from someone who saved his life. Light, however, insists on it, and Colonel finally backs off and accepts the payment. Once on the upper floor, Light uses different magical barriers to make sure they will stay protected from prying eyes and takes off his mask and cloak. While relaxing, he tells Light once again that he should have stayed back and let her and Gold take care of gathering all the intel that he wanted, since even though Light is really strong, they can never take too many precautions. This triggers Light a lot, who gets up from his place, asking whether Nem wants to deny him his revenge, to prevent him from bringing the people who destroyed his village and family to justice. The same aura of death and destruction returns to him, scaring Nem, who immediately starts groveling on the ground, pleading for forgiveness, claiming that she never wanted to offend him. Light finally calms down and apologizes to Nem, as he knows that she just wants him to be safe, and that's it. The next morning, they finally get ready to enter the dungeons, so they dress up for the day and get in a long line, leading up to the front gates of the dungeons. While standing in the long line, 3 hooded figures cut in line in front of a group of young human adventurers. Just by the confidence with which they cut in the line, Light already knew that these adventurers belonged to some other race. But while every other human party was scared, Light spoke up and told the hooded men to get back in line just like everyone else. One of the hooded guys turns back in anger and astonishment, surprised by the fact that a human dared to speak in front of him. Light tells him that if he belongs to a noble family, he probably doesn't want to create a scene, but the hooded guy seems to have anger issues of his own as he gets ready to draw his weapon. But the other guy in his party stops him, and they soon remove themselves from the queue. But while going back, the hooded man tells Light that this is not over yet. All the humans cheer for Light, claiming that they would never have the guts to speak up to the other races, while the young adventurers in front of him ask why they have not brought any supplies. According to them, this dungeon is really large and it might take people several days to clear it. That's why adventurers always bring their supplies so they can camp at night. Soon they enter the dungeons and find themselves in a completely new world, filled with its own creatures and monsters. Once Light was sure that no one was around to see them, he uses his concealment magic and then uses flight magic so that they can fly through the dungeons without anyone noticing them. Meanwhile, in the middle of the jungle, the hooded guy removes his cloak. Still angry about how the little shit of a human disrespected him, he takes out the huge sword from his back, shouting that his name is Kaido, the youngest elf to ever join the ranks of the elite White Knights, and he has the blood, the master, running through him. He destroys all the orcs in his rage, stabbing their heads, while the dark elf, named Yun, tells him to calm down. Kaido is still mad though because he is unable to increase his level, which seems to be capped at 1500. Tells him that any normal elf is usually capped at level 700, but Kaido is not satisfied with that, and promises himself that he will surpass this level no matter what. Back on the 3rd floor, Light and his party has already cleared this floor as well, and decide to call it a day and retrieve all the magic gems as proof of clearing the level. Once they had everything, they decided to return back to the surface, taking in the beauty of this dungeon. They realized that without the ability to fly, it would have taken a lot of time just to go from one floor to the other. But thanks to their skills, they can clear multiple floors in a single day. While heading back, they notice the young adventurers facing off against a group of goblins. Light decides to watch them as they manage to kill them all with good teamwork. But Light immediately descends down and kills a bush snake which was creeping up on the mage girl in the back. Light tells the young adventurers that they should not get too focused on the enemy in front of them and always be aware of their surroundings, and the young guys thank him for his help. When suddenly a bunch of wolves emerge from the forest, the adventurers get scared and want to run off. But to their confusion, the wolves don't attack, but simply run away. But all their questions are answered when a huge mantis emerges from the forest, ready to destroy anything in front of it, and only Light stands between the monster and the lives of these young adventurers. The young adventurers' balls climb into their mouth as they stare at the mantis terrified, trying to formulate a plan as to how they can escape from this place alive. The leader of the group turns around and tries to keep himself strong, but his voice betrays him as he shakily tells Maya, the pink-haired girl, that she should use her fireball spell at the mantis to try and distract it. He then turns towards Light and pleads with him to help them, as they can only survive this monster if they work together. He tells Light that they need to somehow work together and trip the monster down, which should give them enough time to run away from this place. Light looks at him a little confused and asks whether they don't want to hunt the beast. The little boy looks at Light, shocked, and screams that of course they don't want to hunt the beast, because the beast is hunting them right now. Light then asks whether it would be fine then if he kills the monster and claims the loot. The boy thinks that Light has lost his mind and tells him that his plan is ridiculous and the monster is too strong. They need to run away as soon as possible and alert the guild about this super strong monster, as they must seal the dungeon right away. Light, however, simply smiles and tells the boy not to worry and simply back off. He turns towards Gold and Nem, who both look eager to stretch their limbs, and Nem claims that this should be a good warm-up since the mantis monster must be at least level 500. They were about to decide who will go first, but Gold decides to cheat and rushes towards the monster on his own. The mantis strikes at him with his sides, but Gold blocks the attack with his sword before parrying every single strike that the mantis throws at him. This seems to piss the monster off, who smashes the sides into the ground, while Gold jumps back to safety. He claims that the monster took the brunt of his attacks, and yet there isn't even a scratch on him, which means that those sides are really strong. Nem makes fun of him, claiming that Gold is weak and is making excuses. Light decides to have a go at it next and releases the fire arrow card, which creates a magic circle, and a huge fire blast launches towards the mantis. To their surprise, the monster manages to deflect it back at Light and his party, who jump back to dodge the explosion. The young adventurers are shocked to see the level of spells being used in front of them, as they have never seen a player above level 100 before. The leader boy immediately turns towards Maya and tells her to cast an explosion spell to help them, but the girl turns towards the boy and screams at him that they are completely outmatched here. She claims that Light just used a very high combat class magic, and that too without any spell casting or any incantations, which is beyond incredible, as she has never seen anyone do anything like that before. The boy claims that he doesn't really get the gravity of that, but all he knows is that they should help Light's party. Gold hears all that and laughs, telling the young adventurers to stay back and enjoy the show, as they need to learn first, otherwise they would be putting their lives at risk for absolutely no reason. He promises to teach them how to fight like a knight, how to defend with a shield, and at the same time attack with the sword. While he was talking to the kids with his back turned towards the mantis, the monster tries to take advantage of the situation and launches an attack at him. The kids watch in horror, unable to utter a word of warning, but Gold needs no help, as he simply uses his shield to block the attack with such precision that it completely shatters the mantis' scythe. The mantis screams in pain, and blood starts spraying from his body, while Gold tells the kids that a well-timed counterattack with a shield is oftentimes stronger than an attack with the sword. With that, he immediately turns around and catches the mantis off guard, slashing one of its legs clean off the body. The kids are stunned at this display of strength, while Light decides to show off his skills as well, and once again uses his fire arrow skill, which the mantis swats away just like before. To its surprise though, Light is able to control the projectile of the attack and uses it to blindside the monster by hitting it on the back. He continues using his fire blast at will, hitting the mantis from all sides at once, completely overwhelming its senses and pushing it back. Maya is shocked at this display, as she has never seen someone controlling the projectile of their attacks at will. Light manages to hit the mantis with pinpoint accuracy using his fire arrows and explodes one of its sides off. Realizing that it is outmatched against these adventurers, the mantis decides to run away with its remaining limbs back to safety, and Light realizes that the monster is smarter than he gave it credit for, but it doesn't matter at this point since there is nowhere for it to run. Light reveals his firewall card and immediately creates a huge wall of raging flames, cutting the escape route, forcing the mantis to turn around. Maya is again blown away as she realizes that Light just used a tactical class magic with absolutely no incantations or spells, which is unheard of. Light and his team walk up to the mantis, ready to finish it off, but the monster has one last trick up its sleeve as it reveals its wings and takes flight. Light realizes that it might actually get away, so he decides to let Nem handle the rest, and immediately she jumps in the air, drawing her daggers out, and finishes off the monster with a single outrageously cool attack, completely destroying the beast. She lands on the ground, pleased with herself, but Gold snaps her back to the reality, claiming that she ended up destroying all the useful parts they could have sold just because she wanted to show a cool attack. Nem realizes what she has done and starts apologizing to Light, while the young adventurers stand there, too stunned to speak up as they process what they just saw. 3 adventurers defeated a level 500 Mantis monster, which is unbelievable for them, and they start wondering who these people actually are. Light tells Nem not to worry about it as they will kill more monsters on the way, but one of the adventurers ends up finding the magic gem, which is at the core of a monster and the most important loot item. Nem's mood immediately lights up as they can now rank up with the magic gem. The leader of the young adventurers walks up to Light and asks whether they are a super famous adventurers party and asks whether they are B rank, a rank, or S rank. Light calmly replies that they are a party of new adventurers who are F rank right now. This leaves the young adventurers stunned as even they are higher than F rank. Maya immediately creates a water ball and offers it to Light and his party so they could get cleaned up. Light thanks them for their generosity, but the young adventurers tell him that if it wasn't for Light and his party, they would have probably died today at the hands of the Mantis monster. The leader of the adventurers then offers Light and his party to spend the night with them in their camp, since the sun is setting and roaming around in the dungeons during the night is dangerous even for the strongest adventurers. Moreover, Maya is really itching to talk to Light about all the magic she saw today. Light decides to accept the invitation and joins them at their campout, where they start having dinner. Maya starts asking Light all sorts of questions, when Light comments that she herself seems to be a good mage. Maya immediately refuses, claiming that she can't even cast normal combat class magic, let alone cast one without any incantations. The other members of the party are still not understanding what's so cool about the magic Light performed, which enrages Maya, who erupts at them and explains that there are 3 advanced classes of magic. Combat class, such as fire arrows, which are meant to attack one single target. Then there is tactical class magic, such as the firewall which Light used earlier, that affects a huge area at once. And then finally there's strategical class magic, which has a global impact and can call meteors, tsunamis, and earthquakes, but they take multiple very high-class talented mages to operate. She then claims that usually advanced class magic is normal for races like elves, dragons, and beast people to use, but humans don't have enough mana to use them properly, so Light being able to simply use the magic would in itself be a big deal. But he is using these advanced magic spells without any incantations, which is a legendary feat. Gold and Nem both agree with Maya, claiming that she seems to know her stuff well. The young leader of the group claims that Maya is her sister, and she is also really good at magic. That's why she got accepted in the Duchy's School of Magic. This name is familiar to Light, who asks whether that's the one which is based in the place called the Principality of Nine, where all races are claimed to be treated equal. The boy nods, but his eyes sadden up when he reveals that their parents ended up dying in the last epidemic. That's why Maya was never able to go there. That's the reason he created this party with his childhood friends, so they could raise enough money and send Maya to the Duchy's School of Magic. This reminds Light of his own little sister, and he tells the young adventurers not to worry as he is sure that they will soon achieve their goal. With that, they decide to end the night, and next morning they return outside with the loads of high-level magic gem crystals, shocking the receptionist while the remaining parties wonder who these people are. The receptionist happily accepts their crystals and returns with cash, after which they leave the guild and start walking through the market. Every single person in the market seemed to recognize them, as the story of an F-ranked party defeating a level 500 Mantis monster seems to have spread like wildfire. Light is glad about the attention that they are garnering, but suddenly they are approached by 2 guys, asking whether they are the ones who defeated the level 500 monster. Nem immediately draws her dagger out, asking what the hell do they want. The guys immediately back off, claiming that they are friendly and introduce themselves as Suval and Gil. Gil speaks up, claiming that he doesn't really believe in the story, but this results in Nem's dagger at his throat as she demands to know whether he is calling Light a liar. Sol tells her to calm down as they are all rooting for him, since Light proved that humans shouldn't be taken lightly. Just then Sol and Gil get called by their party, so they bid Light and his party good luck before leaving. Light and his party soon gets in the line to enter the dungeons once again, where they start overhearing the other races scoffing at the claims that a human party defeated a mantis monster. Once they enter the dungeons, they start flying through the skies again when they notice Maya and the others walking through the green fields. Light decides to stop and starts talking to them. Maya shyly takes out a homemade ointment that she learned from her grandmother and hands it to Light as a gift for helping them out. Light happily accepts it and realizes that he must give something to her as well. He secretly takes out a magic card and converts it into a bracelet before giving it to Maya. She gladly accepts the gift and promises to treasure it forever. Later that night, when they were flying through the skies, Nem asks why Light gave Maya such a strong item in exchange for a boring, useless ointment. Gold laughs at Nem's tiny brain, claiming that it's the thought which counts. Plus, Light gave her a magic bracelet which can create small miracles if the user wishes for something hard enough. An item like that might be useless for Light, but for Maya, it could be the difference between life and death. On the other hand, Light and his party go back to the Adventurers Guild after a few days, and Nem demands the receptionist to immediately promote Light to S rank because he doesn't deserve anything less than that. The receptionist nervously tells her that it is not possible because they have a rank system at the guild. She reminds Nem that just a few days ago, they made an exception for Light and promoted him to D rank directly after he killed the Scythe Mantis. However, the receptionist gets intimidated by Nem's constant harassment and says that if Light can achieve another big feat, he might earn yet another promotion. Light likes the idea, and he decides to go after a rumored adventurer hunter that has been targeting only humans. He tells Gold and Nem about this at night, and they agree that catching the adventurer hunter might get him a promotion. However, they have no clues about where to start their investigation. As they are brainstorming for any ideas, Light suddenly notices someone heading towards them. He immediately puts on his mask as his friends get ready for action, and then a portal appears in front of them. They eagerly wait for an enemy to come out of it, but surprisingly, Maya drops out of it instead. Light catches her and finds that she is battered and exhausted, and then the bracelet that he gave her in the past suddenly snaps in half. Light puts Maya to bed while she keeps on murmuring that she needs to hurry up and tell Light everything. He heals her injuries first, and then decides to look into her memories to find out how she ended up like this. He finds that yesterday, some adventurers told Maya's party about the adventurer killer who was targeting just humans. They advised the kids to get out of the dungeon right away, and the party leader agreed with them. The party immediately headed towards the exit, but even as night came, they were not even halfway there. The leader saw that everyone was exhausted, and he debated if it was safe to set up camp, when they saw another party that had completely hidden their faces. Maya told her brother that they should warn these people about the danger as well, and he does the same. Little did they know that they were talking to the adventurer killers themselves, who suddenly started telling each other that they should have done a better job at cleaning up their mess. The kids didn't even understand what they meant when the dark elf Jun started laughing at them and calling them dumb. The party leader was still confused about that, and then Kaido pulled out his sword, telling them that they are the adventurer killers, and their party is going to be their final target for the day. The kids finally realized that they were facing their worst nightmare, but even in that moment, Maya's brother and his friends told Maya to run to safety while they held back the racist murderers. They charged ahead at Kaido, who took offense at the fact that some human brats even had the idea of fighting him. He immediately slashed Maya's brother first, and when the other two boys rushed at him, he took them down mercilessly with a single strike as well. Maya was terrified and devastated at this, but the boys were not ready to back down yet. They got back up and told her to run away and fulfill her dreams. They charged ahead at Kaido once again, and he slashed them down instantly. Maya could only scream in response, and Yun started lecturing Kaido that he needed the humans alive for his experiments. Kaido replied that any insect who dared fight him would be hunted down, and then told Yun that he left one alive at least. Yun decided to forgive him this time because human mages were rare. He decided to take Maya away, but Kaido wanted to have some fun with her before that. Jun told him to do as he pleased and went away, and Maya was terrified. Kaido told her that she should be happy instead because a future legend like him was willing to use a filthy human like her. Maya could not even utter a single word, but just then, her brother got up, telling her to run away. Yun was amazed by his tenacity, and he told Kaido that he really wanted to preserve the boy for his experiments. However, Maya's brother knew that there were really no chances for him to survive the injuries he had got, and that is why he had no second thoughts about risking his life to save his sister. He told Maya to run away and live a long life, and in desperation, she obeyed his command. Yun told Kaido to capture her, and he got pissed because he did not want to take orders from anyone. He decided to take down the boy first, who suddenly started repeating what Gold had said earlier. He murmured that battles were all about creativity and skill, and he had the chance to show his skill right now. Kaido just watched him mumble stuff, and didn't even think he was worth paying attention when suddenly, the boy threw his sword at his face, catching him off guard. Kaido managed to dodge the sword somehow, but that was just the setup for the boy to swing his shield at him and knock him to the ground. Kaido was enraged as a human shattered his pride, and he immediately sent a spike made of white light through the boy's chest. He started walking towards him to finish things off. But luckily, Yun stepped in between and told him to catch the runaway girl first before she alerts anyone. The pissed Kaido decided to listen to his words of reason and chased after Maya, quickly blocking her escape route with the blades of light. He told her that she needed to learn how to behave properly in front of the wielder of the legendary sword of the elves, and then created multiple blades of light, using them as a staircase to get down to the ground. Maya decided to fight back because she didn't want to waste the chance that her brother and friends had sacrificed their life for. She shot icicles at Kaido, who easily defended against them. However, he got pissed as Maya tried to run away and slashed her leg, making sure she couldn't run away. He told her that now she would get the great opportunity of pleasing a future hero like him. Maya mocked him, telling him that he was just a bully who liked to hurt those weaker than him. And if she had ever met a person fit to be called a hero, it was Light. Her words hit Kaido right where it hurt the most, because he had been called a bully his entire life by other elves. He snapped when Maya called him a spineless loser and sent his blades of light to kill her. Maya desperately wished for a way to escape and reach Light because he was the only one who could help her, and her bracelet turned her wish into a reality, teleporting her to his room. Now that Light has learned her full story, he tells Nem and Gold that they need to get on the move immediately. Back in the dungeon, Kaido reaches Yun, who is healing Maya's brother, who is still alive. As soon as Yun sees Kaido, he asks him about Maya, and he replies that he thought she teleported here to save her brother. Yun loses his cool at that and asks Kaido how could a former member of the powerful White Knights lose to a mere human girl. Kaido gets angry and says that he didn't know that the girl would have a teleportation item with her, and hearing this immediately makes Yun crap his pants. He realizes that if Maya reaches the guild and tells them everything, the elven country will find out about it quickly, and they will send the White Knights to arrest them and retrieve the legendary sword that Kaido stole. Kaido loses his mind on hearing this because he knows how powerful the White Knights are, and their captain is over level 3000. He begins stomping the ground out of frustration, but Yun tells him that it is not too late yet, because if he completes his research, Kaido can break through his level cap and become stronger than the White Knight's captain. Kaido gets his hopes up as Yun tells him that they need to find a safe place to start his research, but just then, Light arrives there, telling them that they are not going anywhere. The elves recognize him from earlier and wonder how did he appear behind them so sneakily. But Light doesn't pay them any attention yet. He first puts the two boys to rest, and then Gold brings the injured leader to him, saying that his wounds have been healed very poorly. The elves are shocked to see that the boy was taken away from right under their nose without them noticing. Light heals him quickly, and then says that neither of the boys deserved this. They were living an honest life and just wanted to gather enough money to send Maya to the Magic Academy. But now it is too late. He thinks that they could have been friends if things went normally, and he is furious that he lost that because of the elves. He swears that he will punish them for this, and Yun tries to control the situation by saying that they are not criminals, and he healed the boy after he found him severely injured. However, Light reveals that Maya reached out to him, and he knows everything about them now. The two elves panic on this, but then Light assures them that he hasn't told the guild anything yet. Kaido suddenly laughing on hearing this, and says that it is his lucky day because now he just needs to finish Light, and then no one will know what happened here. Light gets furious on hearing this, and declares that he won't let the guild capture them because they are his prey. He lets out his murderous intent and tells the elves that he will rip them apart with his bare hands. He then tells Nem and Gold to stay out of it, and they obey his orders. Light walks towards the elves, and Kaido gets pissed off by his confidence. He leaps at him and swings his sword with his full strength, but Light effortlessly blocks it with his staff. Kaido is shocked by this, but he keeps attacking Light, who has no trouble blocking his attacks. While Yun can't believe this, Gold and Nem think that Kaido is a weakling who can't even control his rage in a fight. Light also gets fed up with his pathetic rage and parries his next attack, causing him to lose his balance. He then strikes him right in the chest, forcing all the air out of his lungs with the powerful blow. He mocks the elf, saying that he expected better things from him, and that frustrates Kaido to no end. He gets up and unleashes the full power of his legendary sword, sending blades of light towards Light. Light easily dodges the first blade, but an ice crystal appears at the place it hits the ground. Light is surprised by this and finds that the magic blades shot out by Kaido are enchanted with different elements. He starts running away to dodge the magic blades and realizes that they are not strong enough to deal damage to him, even if he is standing still. Suddenly, Kaido appears behind him mid-air and strikes him with his full strength, but Light has no problem blocking his strike. Yun is in disbelief now because no human should be able to stand against a level 1500 elf like Kaido, but Light is clearly overpowering him. Kaido also gets frustrated and accuses Light of being a swordsman and tricking people by wearing clothes like a mage. He starts throwing a tantrum and calls him a cheater, but Light replies that he is really a mage. Kaido doesn't believe him, so Light simply creates hundreds of ice swords in the sky without any incantation. Kaido is intimidated by this, and in his desperation, he sends magic swords to attack Light, who precisely counters those magic swords using the icicles. Yun can't believe his eyes because doing something that even the most powerful elf mages can't accomplish. Meanwhile, Kaido keeps trying to attack Light with the magic swords, but he uses his icicles as a barrier to defend against any attacks. Kaido starts yelling that Light must be cheating somehow because he can't beat the holy sword Grandius that was given to an old maestro by the heavens themselves. Light is surprised on hearing that and asks Kaido how he knows about that. The arrogant elf just laughs at him and says that he knows it because he has the blood of a maestro in him and people call him a submaestro. Hearing that, Light immediately changes his plans, as this is the first time in a while that he has gotten any word about the maestro. He tells Gold and Nem that he has changed his mind, and instead of killing them right here, he wants to capture them and take them back to the Abyss, where he will use all the measures to drain out every single grain of information out of them before dealing with them. Kaido still doesn't really understand how outmatched he is against Light and simply mocks him, claiming that he doesn't understand that a sword like his is directly bestowed upon a hero from the heavens itself. And right from the very beginning, heroes like him are completely distinct. He starts spewing some racist shit like Sydney Sweeney in American Eagle ad, telling Light that even their genes are different, and he is superior to him. Light doesn't really care about him though, and turns towards Gold and Nem, telling them that he is going to deal with Kaido while they should deal with Jun and capture him alive. Both Nem and Gold immediately get ready to follow his commands and draw their weapons out. Jun, however, seems confident in himself, claiming that he is just a scientist and not a battle mage. But if they really think they can take him down easily, they are sorely mistaken. With a snap of his finger, the two hooded figures behind him emerge from the darkness and take the form of grotesque, twisted monsters made up of multiple body parts from different creatures. Jun very excitedly explains that he has created his own chimera of humans, orcs, and trolls to create these beasts. But the only problem is that they need multiple humans in order to stabilize these creations. He explains that with this technique, even lowly creatures with a level cap of 200 can become as strong as level 500 monsters. Light catches the glimpse of the face on one of the monstrosities, and immediately recognizes the guy who had a conversation with him that morning and congratulated him on his achievements. This really saddens him, but there is nothing he could do, so he simply tells Gold and Nem to quickly put them out of their misery and make sure that Jun doesn't escape, as he will deal with him later. Jun simply laughs and orders the monsters to attack, but Gold and Nem simply use a single slash to take the monsters down. Jun, however, simply smiles at that, claiming that his monsters are not so easily dealt with, and just as he said, the monsters stand back up again, ready for round 2. Kaido decides to go on the offensive as well, and uses his magical sword to shoot light blades at Light, who easily dodges them and backs off as the next volley gets blasted right at him. On the other side of the fight, the hybrid monster attacks Nem, who jumps back, slashing at its arms, begging it to go down easily, while Gold laughs at her, asking where is her usual confidence now. She snaps back, claiming that he doesn't seem completely like himself either. But Gold laughs and tells her that just getting warmed up. The other monster attacks Gold, who meets the attack head on, but the monster dodges at the last moment and counterattacks, which Gold manages to block with his shield, but is pushed back while doing so. Jun laughs like a maniac, telling them to simply surrender, and if they do so, he promises to go easy on them while conducting his experiments. Nem is creeped out by the Dark Elf, and asks Gold whether they can end the battle now, as she doesn't want to drag it for too long. Gold agrees with that, so they decide to bust out their ultimate attacks. Nem's daggers start glowing an eerie shade of purple, while Gold's sword starts radiating a white light from it as they get ready to strike. Jun is still completely chill about the situation, claiming that his hybrids have incredible regenerative abilities and can't be killed that easily. But his laughter soon gets choked in his throat as he realizes that his monsters don't seem to be generating and are simply getting burnt to ashes after their attack. He can't believe that and rushes to see what's wrong. But Nem quickly deals with him by making sure that his bloodline will end with him. Back on the other side, Light is using his ice magic to completely overwhelm Kaido, who stumbles back and falls to the ground. Light walks up to him, asking why the hell is he chickening out after initiating the fight. This taunt reminds Kaido of Maya's brother, who dared stand up to him and even punched him in his face. This brings all the hatred back into him as he claims that humans are beneath him and should be removed from the planet altogether. He gets back up and unleashes the true power of the legendary sword Grandius, which extends into the sky, and Light is forced to back off when Kaido swings it in his direction. Light realizes that the sword has been enchanted with multiple types of magic and is behaving more like a whip than a sword at this point by the way it's swerving and curving. Nem and Gold watch from a distance, claiming that it's indeed an interesting technique coming from a low-rank peasant, but they know that it can't even hold a candle to Light in terms of power. Kaido, on the other hand, keeps getting frustrated, screaming at Light to stop being a coward and stand there, as one hit from his legendary blade would be the end of his entire bloodline. Light simply laughs at this, claiming that Kaido is wildly overestimating his powers and decides to drop back to the ground, hands outstretched as he dares Kaido to hit him. Enraged by this, Kaido uses his full strength to swing the sword at him and hits him square on the shoulder with an extreme force. But to his surprise, Light stands there without even a scratch on him, smiling and asking whether that was the limit to his powers. This shorts his brain as Kaido starts swinging his sword wildly at Light, unable to believe that he could be bested while owning the legendary sword in his hands. Light, however, quickly brings the charade to an end as he shatters the enchantment on the sword and uppercuts Kaido in the face, knocking him back to the ground with a bloodied face. He stands on top of him with eyes filled with disgust, as he claims that he is going to get as much information out of him as he can with any measure at his disposal, and he will continue doing that till Kaido himself asks for the sweet release of death. Kaido immediately realizes that he is done for, and his temperament changes as he bows down to Light, begging for mercy, claiming that he is from the Queendom of the Elves and was once the next in line to become the captain of the legendary White Knights. Light looks down at him with disgust, asking how dare he call himself a hero when he is folding so easily. The real heroes are Maya's party members who gave their lives but fought till the end. With that, Light removes his mask and tells Kaido that if he manages to so much as scratch him in a fight, Light will let him go. Kaido, however, is not taking any of that and runs away, unable to believe that this is happening to him. But Kaido wants to torture him just like he tortured Maya, so he uses his solar ray to blast through one of his legs, knocking him to the ground in pain. With that, both the elves are bound while Light picks up the fallen members of Maya's party. He claims that they can't bury them in this dungeon with so many monsters around, so instead they use the teleportation magic to take them all to the abyss. When the elves open their eyes again, they see a huge throne room in front of them and are completely confused. Light, however, tells them that they are at the bottom-most level of the dungeon named Dogas, and this is where they live. Jun is unable to believe that someone can live at the bottom of the world's most dangerous dungeon, but Nem immediately kicks him into silence. Light's 4 faithful servants immediately arrive there, welcoming him, while asking who the hell these 2 elves are. Light explains the situation, claiming that these scumbags were using humans for their inhumane experiments, which resulted in deaths of several humans for absolutely no reason. The moment he says that, the atmosphere changes as chills run down the elves' back, as they realize how outmatched they are just by the dangerous vibes emanating from the 4 women in front of them. May asks whether Light wants them to suffer the worst pain imaginable, while the others agree, giving him ideas about all the different ways they could kill the elves. But Light tells them that they are to be kept alive till he has extracted all the information he needs from them, and after that he will kill them himself. All of them agree, and Light turns to Gold and Nem, telling them to make sure Maya's brother heals back up, and to make a burial site for the 2 brave friends who gave their lives to protect Maya. By the time Maya wakes up, she finds Light sitting beside her at the inn. She seems confused about what happened and in a daze, so Light tells her everything that has happened till now. He lies that he found her unconscious in the dungeons and took her back to safety, and suddenly it all came back to her. She quickly looks around the room to find her friends and brother, but only spots her brother sleeping peacefully on the bed beside her. Light tells her that he is in a deep healing sleep as he took some severe injuries, but promises that he should recover completely without any issues. The moment turns dark though when he finally mentions that he was never able to save her friends, and the only thing he was able to recover were some hair strands which he hands over to her like a barbarian. She weeps over her dead friends, but finds solace in the fact that she still has a brother who can share the burden with her. The next morning, Light and his party head towards the front desk, where the receptionist promotes Light to rank C. Light is confused because he lied to the guild about the fact that he captured the elves and told them that they got away. But the receptionist tells him that the information about the two elves in itself is pretty substantial and worthy of a promotion. Soon after that, they meet up with Maya and her brother again, who look pretty chill for someone who lost their friends in a violent attack yesterday. They tell Light that they are quitting being an adventurer and returning back to their hometown. Light is confused and asks why don't they simply form a new party. But Maya claims that she can't live with the PTSD and needs to leave this place. Her brother tells them that it would feel wrong to be in a party without their childhood best friends, and moreover, they would like to return whatever they had of their friends back to their hometown and to their families. With that, Light bids them good luck and promises that they will meet again one day very soon. With that, he tells Gold and Nem to hold the fort while he teleports back to the abyss. He is immediately greeted by May and Ellie, who offer him some tea and a bunch of notes about all the details they were able to get out of the two elves. Ellie claims that Submaestro is not a single person, but anyone who is known to be related to the Maestro in some way who is able to gain level very easily is known as a Submaestro. May tells him that every single member of the Wild Knight groups are Submaestros in their own rights, and Kaido was not anything special in that regard. She also reveals that the two elves claim that if a new Maestro wasn't found, the whole world would be destroyed. This confuses Light as he doesn't understand how the world could be destroyed because of something so inconsequential. This means, however, that their next step is to get the White Knights under their custody for questioning. He then asks Ellie about Kaido and Jun, and she immediately shows how they are in a purgatory realm being tortured bloody day and night. Light claims that they have done what they were needed for and uses a special spell card to kill them in the most horrifying way possible. With that, he turns to Ellie and asks whether they are ready to bring the next part of their plan in motion, and Ellie smiles, claiming that they are ready to capture the White Knight Sasha, the elf who betrayed Light all those years ago. Light thinks about the sweet feeling he will get when he finds Sasha begging him not to kill her and gets ready to initiate the plan. On the other hand, Sasha is enjoying a date with her fiancé Michaeli, who is also the vice captain of the White Knights. The two bond over their racism against humans, and Mikhail enjoys the story of how Sasha and her friends fooled Light before hunting him in the abyss. After their date ends, Sasha heads home, still fawning about how handsome Mikhail looked. Her maid replies that the two of them are the most beautiful couple she has ever seen, and Sasha replies that the wedding is still some time away. The maid tells her not to get complacent because that can lead to bad things, like her getting fat and not fitting in her wedding dress. Sasha tells the old hag to stop jinxing her life, when suddenly, her carriage comes to an abrupt halt because a human slave fell to the ground in front of them. As Sasha scoffs about how useless humans are, she notices Light walking into a shady alley. Her eyes widen in shock, and she dashes out of the carriage, determined to prove to herself that the person she saw was not Light. She starts searching the streets, trying to convince herself that Light is dead at the bottom of the abyss. She soon reaches a dead end, and since she saw no one on the way, Sasha thinks that this was all just a trick that her eyes played on her. However, as she turns around, she finds a note stuck to the wall. It says, "Waiting at the tower," and there is Light's signature on the bottom, which makes Sasha freak out. She lets out a loud scream, and when her old maid arrives there, she finds Sasha on the ground, absolutely horrified. She murmurs that Light is going to ruin her life. She got everything after killing Light, including being adopted by a noble and her engagement to Mikhail. She fears that everything will be taken away from her, and Light is already enjoying her panic attack from a distance. Ellie is also ready to show the elf bitch that she messed with the wrong person, and Light tells her that he is excited to see how they will torture Sasha. Meanwhile, in the training grounds of the White Knights, a pair of twins is practicing their knife throws on a pitiful human, while competing about who can keep him alive the longest. Meanwhile, a pervert elf named Shar is diddling his human slave in broad daylight, and the other two elves are pissed off at him. Shar starts talking about Kaido, who stole the legendary sword and then got found out as the adventurer hunter. He mocks Kaido and then reveals that the higher-ups want them to clean up that loser's mess, which he doesn't want to. The redhead must tell Shar that it is their duty as knights to take responsibility for the actions of a former member of their order. Shar starts cuddling with his slave as he says that he doesn't want to leave the comfort of his home, But just then, the twins pierce the human's ear and he cries in pain. Char gets pissed at this and tells the twins to kill the miserable guy already, but they tell him to shut up because they will do whatever they want to their slave. Must tells all of them to stop because they are supposed to be honorable knights. He says that humans are weak creatures and it is fine to keep them as pets in the short term. But in the end, they need a merciful death at the hands of a superior species. He starts giving a whole lecture about their noble duty as elves to relieve humans from their pitiful lives, and both Char and the twins join forces to mock him for this. Suddenly, the captain orders everyone to stop and his killing intent is so powerful that the birds flying above them drop dead instantly. The elves are terrified of their captain as well, and he tells the twins to stop playing with their slave because that will affect their skill on the battlefield. He also tells Must to stop being a judgmental prick and then tells Char to dispose of the pitiful guy tied to the tree. Char simply points his finger at the man and blasts a hole in his body along with the tree he is tied to. The captain then orders the twins to clean up the dead body and tells Must to go to his mission as well. Once they have left, Char notices how spooked his human is, and he tells her to go back to the room. And then the captain tells Char that he needs to reduce his affairs with humans because that is not good for their bloodline. He says that historically, elves are the race that have inherited the most maestro blood, and the white knights are made up entirely of submaestros who have awakened the power of that unique DNA. Char tells him that there is no need to worry because everyone in the white knights has hit their level cap apart from Must. But the captain tells him that they indeed have something to worry about. It has been several thousand years, but the world has yet to see the birth of a new maestro. He tells Char not to do anything that will dilute or pollute the rare maestro blood. Char replies that he doesn't plan to do anything like that, and humans are just a hobby for him. He talks about how he enjoys human women getting excited at the idea that an elf like him is interested in them, and then they are willing to go to any lengths to keep him happy. He laughs about how desperate they become towards the end, and then says he is getting bored of the current slave, so he will dispose of her soon. Char says that backstabbing them is the best part of the act, and the captain is low-key disgusted by that. He tells Char that the orders regarding Kaido's mess will come soon, and they will have to handle that because no matter how lousy Kaido was, he was one of them. The captain walks away with that, declaring that no one should be allowed to spoil the name of their queen. Later that night, as Sasha is sleeping, she feels the ground rumbling. Not far away from her house, Ellie creates a tower using magic and Sasha notices it. She recalls the note left by Light and wonders if that is the tower he mentioned. The next day, a slave trader carrying some humans runs into a giant rock monster on the trade route. He runs away, leaving his cargo behind, and the humans are left to fend for themselves. The problem affects more than just the slave trader, and soon the entire city is facing a shortage of essential items. Some elves in a bar discuss how monsters have appeared along the important delivery routes, cutting off supplies. They wonder if the tower that appeared in the forest out of nowhere is connected to the appearance of the monsters. And some people discuss how the Elf Queendom doesn't have enough manpower to investigate the matter right now. Because of that, the government has posted a mission for adventurers to find information about the tower. However, no elf is willing to risk their life for the reward because they feel that the tower is too dangerous. Light, Nemu and Gold are also there among the adventurers, and Light is confident that completing this task will earn him another promotion. Meanwhile, two elf adventurers spot Nemu from a distance, and they can't let the chance to bag a tan tomboy shorty get away from their hands. They immediately approach her and ask her to join their party because they are both over level 150. They tell her to kiss the losers in her party goodbye because she won't get another chance to be scouted by elves like them. Nemu tells the two losers to get lost because Light is the only master she serves. Light also tells them that Nemu is an irreplaceable member of his group and asks them to leave her alone. The elves get pissed that a human is telling them what to do, and one of them tries to punch Light, who simply releases a thunderbolt spell that hits the ground between them. The elf falls backwards in shock, and the other adventurers start recognizing Light as the masked adventurer who is the talk of the town recently. They think that Light's party will finish the mission and collect all the reward on their own, and Gold says that this worked out better than they planned because now their fame will spread even further. At the same time, a bunch of elves is heading towards the tower with a human, using her as their bait in case a monster attacks them. Two elves are nervous because the mission is too risky, but their leader tells them that even if they can learn what kind of monsters are found around the tower, they will get enough money to cover for the girl's cost. The girl suddenly drops to the ground from exhaustion, and the elf leader tells her to get up before he comes there and kicks her. Suddenly, he feels something slimy drip on his hand, and when he looks up, he finds the stone monster staring down at him. The elf doesn't even have the time to scream as the monster bites him down, and then its snake-like tail devours the other two elves with him. The human girl is absolutely terrified at this point, but the monster just sniffs her and walks away. The girl is shocked and wonders why did the monster not eat her when a gang of delinquents walk towards her, saying that they are really lucky today. The girl fears that she is going to suffer a fate worse than death at their hands, but the punks throw a healing potion at her, curing her injuries and cleaning her body. The girl is even more confused now, and then the punks begin dividing tasks among themselves, like getting her a pair of shoes and making her a good dinner. The leader of the punks informs Yuki that they rescued another human and they are going to take her to a safe place soon. Yuki just lazily meows while sitting on the tower, and then Ellie comes there to keep her company. Ellie asks her if she is feeling fine because this is the first time she has come out of the abyss and controlled so many monsters at once. Yuki keeps on meowing her answers, and Ellie understands that she has everything under control. However, Ellie still can't shake the feeling that something might go wrong along the way, and she wonders if she should issue a warning to everyone who is not smart and sensible enough to follow Light's orders properly. However, Yuki tells her not to bother with that, because their only duty is to do whatever Light says. They should not try too hard to understand him or become too close to him, because in the end, their only role is to be his servants. Ellie asks her if she is satisfied with being only a pet her entire life, and Yuki replies that she is satisfied because she knows this is her right position. She asks Ellie how can she think that people like them can get close to their almighty god. Yuki tells Ellie that if she tries to overstep Light's authority, she will kill her right here. And Ellie doesn't take that sitting down. She asks Yuki if she really thinks she is strong enough for that, and the beast tamer replies that they can find that out only by fighting. The air gets tense as both of them unleash their killing intent. But just then, Yuki gets a call from the punks who have brought the girl to the safe house. She returns to her usual lazy self with that, and Ellie flies away as well, not intending to restart the fight. Later that night, Sasha keeps staring at the crumpled letter from Light. She knows that there are monsters over level 1000 around the tower, and she cannot get past them on their own. However, she cannot ask the White Knights to escort her there, because then they will get suspicious that Light is still alive. She goes mad thinking about a way to reach the tower and swears that she will finish Light for good this time. Soon after that, the Elf Queen calls a meeting with the top officials to decide what to do about the tower. The Prime Minister suggests that they immediately dispatch the White Knights to investigate the tower and destroy it, because no one else seems capable enough to do that. However, Captain Hardy asks the old man if he has gone senile to suggest something like that. He says that they don't have any information about the tower right now. The rest of the ministers quietly enjoy the standoff between the two men. But then the Queen decides to step in. She declares that she supports Hardy's stance right now, and orders her ministers to increase the reward money and motivate people to find out as much as they can about the tower. Everyone leaves the room one by one, and when it is Hardy's turn to leave, the Prime Minister calls him a lapdog under his breath. Hardy hears it clearly, but doesn't object to the words because they are true. He goes straight to the Queen's room and thanks her for taking his side earlier, and she replies that it is what she should do as his mother. The two of them sit down for tea, and Hardy tells his mother that the Prime Minister is just biding his time and preparing to overthrow the monarchy someday. But the Queen is not worried about that. She says that the bigger threat to her kingdom and the entire world is the tower. She thinks that the tower signals the return of the Archfiend who once threatened to destroy the entire world. And whenever the greatest enemy of the world appears, a hero is born. By a work of fate, only a human can be born as the hero, and the Queen doesn't want that to happen. The new hero will most certainly be a maestro, and if they don't win him over or kill him, he will destroy all elves. On the other hand, Light's party goes to the base camp where all adventurers who want to gather information about the tower have assembled. The losers from the other day are there too, and so is Sasha, who recognizes Light's voice. She immediately tells him to stop and take off his mask, and seeing Light get alert, Gold and Nemu ask what is wrong. He tells them that the elf girl behind them is Sasha, and they are ready to unalive her. But Light stops them. Sasha orders him to take off his mask again, and when Light tells her that he is hiding awful burns behind it, she simply slaps it away from his face. Light turns back to his companions, talking about how his magic seems to have fooled her into thinking that he was actually a burn victim, and he thanks Nem for trying to stand up for him. He claims that this could have been a close call, and then thinks about how naive he must have been to not see through the piece of shit that Sasha is. The moment Nem realized what just happened, she was about to lash out, but Light immediately stops her with just a single word. Sasha stands there angrily starting at him, but when he removes his cloak from his head, her anger turns into disgust as what she sees is just a boy with a half-burned face. She immediately pulls back out of disgust and tells him to cover his hideous face before she pukes on him. Light takes these insults while thinking about how he will make her pay for all this once the right time comes. He picks up the mask. While Sasha moves away, talking about how she will need some eye bleach to get that horrible sight from his eyes. With that, they start making their way into the forest, when Light realizes that they are being followed by the two creepy guys who wanted to talk to Nem before. He tells them to back off and leave them alone if they want to escape with their lives, but the elves don't give up that easy. Light and his party decide to speed up a little, hoping to lose these idiots without a fight, but these stubborn jerks somehow manage to keep up with them. So Light stops to finally face them. They pant like dogs in heat, while Light tells them that he doesn't want to hurt them, at which they start laughing, claiming that it's Light who is going to die today and not them. They tell him not to worry, as getting killed by an elf is a great honor for humans. But Light simply sighs at that and calls out one of his servants named Mira to deal with these imbeciles. The two elves simply laugh it off, thinking that Light is bluffing, and he is afraid and has probably pissed his pants already. Suddenly, though, the entire environment changes as a ghoulish figure emerges from behind them. This giant of a woman casually devours both of them with her monstrous arms, finishing them up, bones and all. Even Nem and Gold feel kind of uneasy at the sight of this massive ghoul mommy. She thanks Light for giving her the opportunity to be of help, while Jack, Harley Quinn, and a girl named Suzu also arrive at the location, ready to guide him through the forest and straight to the tower. Flying here is not really an option, as other adventurers might easily spot them. So Suzu, the least directionally challenged member of their party, decides to take the lead and tackle the confusing maze of forest and lead them to the tower. Jack and Gold start discussing about the bro code and how it's always bros before hoes, but that pisses off all the women in the group, who start giving him death stares. Instead of backing off though, Jack doubles down like a true Sigma, while Gold tells him to stop as he has made his point. Jack continues about how women want equal pay, but refuse to do equal work. They want better working conditions in their office, while ignoring the working condition of men who are working in the mine shafts with nothing but a bulb glued to their head. Light decides to step in before the matter gets any worse, and tells them all to calm the hell down, as they can have a civilized debate about it later, and don't have to fight about it right now. This stops the fight for the moment. But the vibes are completely off now, and everything seems very tensed. Light decides to change the topic and asks Harley Quinn about her stupid outfit. She claims that she is learning to be a maid under May and will not take it off till she has learned each and everything about how to keep Light happy. Mira laughs at this, claiming that her maid outfit will be completely useless in a fight and she should take it off for some more appropriate clothes. They start bickering with each other, while Jack asks Gold whether he has been working out or is he just sitting on his ass waiting for Light to solve all the issues. Light realizes that the mood seems to have changed for the better when they finally come in sight of the tower, where Ellie was worried sick about Light, as they were 5 minutes late than they were supposed to be. She lets out a huge sigh of relief at the sight of Light and immediately rushes down alongside the furry and the white-haired idiot to greet Light. Light is impressed by the huge tower, claiming that it looks even more imposing up close than it did from far away. Ellie thanks him for his compliment, explaining that she has made sure to take every single precaution while creating this tower, and now it is completely invincible and won't get affected by any attacks, be it magical or physical. Light is pretty surprised by how big it is, and as soon as he enters inside, he is greeted by a giant red dragon, which Ellie claims to have caught and put under a spell. With that, she teleports them all to the top floor, which is the throne room where a royal throne waits to greet Light's royal ass. Light walks up the stairs as if he was Cinderella and finally sits down on the throne, while everyone in the room goes down on their knees to show respect. With that out of the way, Ellie asks whether she should use this opportunity to refresh everyone on the details of Operation Revenge on Sasha, and Light gives her the go-ahead. She explains that Light has decided to congratulate Sasha on her royal marriage by treating her to a very cold dish of revenge. Alongside that, Ellie claims that she wanted to propose some extra activities for Light's pleasure. Light didn't know about any of this and asks what she had in her mind, to which Ellie replies that everyone in the Elven Kingdom is proud of the Royal White Knights, who are supposed to be the strongest pillars of their kingdom, with each and every one of them being over level 1500. She proposes to have a series of battle against them, after which all of the White Knights would be captured, which would completely cripple the Elven Kingdom, and they won't have any other choice but to bend the knee. With the Elven Kingdom sorted, they will be able to extract any details about the maestro that the elves have, and then make this tower their base of operations and move towards their next target. She suddenly creates a clone of Light, claiming that while he stays here and rests, this shadow of him will take on the jobs for their party and continue ranking them up. Light praises her for thinking everything through perfectly, making her smile, while she reveals that even now, Yuki's beast is leading Sasha to their tower. Back in the forest, Sasha's 2 adventurer teammates tell her that they should back off as the black beast is definitely above their league. But Sasha tells them to shoot up, as she is paying them to lead her up to the tower and not to talk. Light smiles at Ellie, asking whether her new pet, the red dragon, would be there to greet Sasha, and Ellie smiles back, claiming that he will. Once Sasha reaches near the tower, she damn near shits her pants at the sight of the huge dragon just chilling at the base of the tower. Now she realizes how badly outmatched she is and quickly returns back to the royal palace. Ellie and the others watch through the magic ball. Everything is going according to the plan, and now Sasha will call for the White Knights, who would have no other choice but to come to the tower, after which their final plan can start. Just as they thought, Sasha rushes back to the royal palace and demands an audience with the queen and her advisors. She starts telling everyone that she saw a bunch of very powerful black beasts with snakes for tails and claims that they are the reason why even stronger monsters are running into the town and creating havoc. Moreover, she claims that once she reached the tower, she saw a ginormous red dragon resting at the base of it. Many of the White Knights laugh at that, claiming that it sounds like a made-up tale, while the queen herself is shocked, as this could spell disaster for her kingdom. With that, the nosy old minister turns to Hardy again, and asks whether even now the leader of the legendary White Knights will hide behind the walls while dragons and monsters plague the entire kingdom. Healing enough, Hardy stands up from his seat and claims that he has heard enough, and that he himself will lead the White Knights into the forest, destroying any monsters they see, and they will also slay the dragon if it exists. With that, he walks off the room in a huff. Later that day, Sasha goes up to the nosy old minister and asks him whether she can join the White Knight party as well and see this to the end. The minister immediately agrees, claiming that they can't let the White Knights have all the credits once they succeed. The very next day, Hardy leads the White Knights out into the forest, telling everyone that they are going to follow Sasha through the forest. Char looks towards her and asks whether she is up to the task, or is she going to chicken out in the end and run away. Sasha defends herself, claiming that they can all believe in her, as she will definitely guide them safely through the forest to the base of the tower. Her fiancé, the white-haired Mick, tells Char that Sasha is level 500 herself and knows how to handle herself. But even if the situation gets awry, he will be there to make sure that she stays safe. Sasha immediately starts fawning over her silver prince, while the twins discuss who is more cringe, Sasha or Mikhail. With that, Sasha starts leading them through the forest, while Ellie and the others watch from the tower. Sasha continues to make her way through the forest, finding the marks that she made on the way last time, but on one of them she ends up tripping only to be caught by Mikhail. Char can't deal with this lovey-dovey bullshit and tells them to get a move on. And finally, they manage to reach the base of the tower. All of them are shocked to see how huge the tower is, and before they could move, the door opens and 5 black monsters emerge from it. Char asks whether he should attack them, but Hardy tells them all to hold themselves still as they need to keep their energy to deal with the dragon, while a party that he has hired will distract these monsters. Just on cue, a blast erupts from the forest, diverting the attention of the monsters who run into the forest, giving a clear way to the White Knights to lead a charge right inside. They continue running through the halls when they suddenly end up stepping on a teleportation trap, immediately separating them into smaller groups all over the tower, while Light sits on his throne waiting for them to make their way up to him so they can start the festivities. Mick and Sasha end up getting transported together to a basement floor, where Mikhail immediately realizes that it was all a setup and someone must have planned out all the traps beforehand. Sasha asks who could that be, but even Mikhail doesn't have the answer, as he replies that they can only know that once they climb up the stairs to see who's waiting for them at the top. Ellie and Light watch through the crystal ball as Mick and Sasha start climbing up the stairs, moving towards the top floor. And Light realizes that he is incredibly excited for the moment that the door opens and Sasha steps in to see his face. Meanwhile, the elf twins Anhia and Kia are also together on a different floor in the darkness and confused about what just happened. They wonder whether they should try and regroup with the others, but before they could even come to a decision, they hear voices coming from behind them. The voices turn out to be Mira and Harley, who were discussing how they are supposed to deal with these weak-ass elves. Mira suggests that Harley can just sit back and enjoy while she deals with both of them, but Harley calls her a gluttonous pig, claiming that they should each get one of these idiots. The elf twins can't believe their ears, as they have never heard anyone make fun of them and take them so lightly before this. Mira and Harley, however, don't even pay any attention to them and continue talking amongst each other. Harley tells Mira not to get overconfident, as even a cornered rat can bite the cat chasing it. But Mira claims that these low-life losers are more like a bunch of pesky mosquitoes and nothing else. She asks Harley whether she seriously thinks that these elves can defeat even one of them. And Harley replies that there is no way in hell that these second-rate elves could even come close to their level. But still, they shouldn't play with their prey too much. This was enough for the twins to get riled up, as within an instant, the two elves rush at Mira and Harley with rage in their eyes, claiming that they are the submaestros of this continent and no being in this world can call them second-rate. Mira and Harley effortlessly dodge the attack and stay in the air, while the twins start using their speed and bouncing from one pillar to another in a blur before appearing behind them to chop them down. Even that surprise attack was useless, though, as two girls nonchalantly duck through the attack and descend down back to the floor. Mira tells Harley that these elves are more like flying squirrels than rats at this point, which again pisses the twins off as they decide to take the fight directly to their opponents. Meanwhile, Char is alone in the darkness on a completely different floor. He lets out a big sigh, wondering how he didn't see the teleportation trap coming, and knows that Hardy is going to scream at him later for that. He is not as dumb as the others though, and immediately senses that he is not alone. So he calls out his opponent to come out of the darkness and explain what's going on. And his opponent turns out to be Suzu. Just one look at her was enough to get him all riled up as he immediately starts simping for her. Suzu has a knee-jerk reflex to the creep while Char royally asks her name, claiming that he is ready to become her knight in shining armor. Suzu gets even more turned off at that when finally her gun speaks up, telling Char to keep it in his pants, and explains that Suzu doesn't talk. Char's mind immediately gets distracted as he realizes that the gun is an intelligent weapon. The gun tells him not to worry about remembering their name though, as he wouldn't really need it because they are soon going to destroy him and everything that he holds dear. Char's head drops down as he feels annoyed that not only did he miss the trap before, but now he has to fight with a hottie for no reason. He gives it one more try, telling Suzu that they can put the fighting on hold for now and get to know each other better. The gun tells Char that Suzu is not interested as he is not his type. But Char is completely without any shame and asks Suzu about her type so he could work to become like that. Suzu tells the gun that her type is short kings with black hair and a receding hairline. The gun immediately realizes that she is simping for Light and tells her that the ship has sailed and Light has too many girls around him, so she will have to wait her turn. This makes her angry and she starts smacking the gun into a pillar while the gun begs her to stop. Char, however, has seen enough and claims that he would have rather taken her as his personal plaything. But it's all okay as he will get what he wants one way or another. He quickly points his arm up and uses an invisible crossbow to shoot at Suzu. To his surprise, Suzu manages to sense the invisible bolt and dodges the strike before shooting a bullet of her own, which Char quickly deflects. He is impressed by the fact that not only did she sense his invisible attack, but dodged it and went on a counter as well. The gun praises Char as well, claiming that very few people can deflect her bullet like he did. Char starts smiling as he prepares another bolt, realizing that this is going to be much more fun than he initially thought. Back in the upper floor, the twins are still bouncing among the pillars as they know that they give them a great advantage. While moving at that speed, they also manage to use their wind cutter ability, which the girls easily dodge, but they soon try it once more. The girls manage to move out of the way once again, but realize that they can't let their guard down too much and should deal with them quickly. The twins, however, keep going full tilt, spamming their one ability like a bunch of nerds who only use overpowered stuff in games. Harley claims that they can't keep this for long, but the twins reply that they can keep doing this for hours without breaking a sweat. That could be a little annoying to deal with, but soon the twins decide to change their strategy. They move towards one of the pillars and use an advanced version of their basic wind cutter ability, creating thousands of tiny little blades flying towards Mira and Harley. This is a little more difficult to dodge, and while they were busy trying to dodge that, Kia throws a dagger which stabs Mira in the stomach, while Enhia manages to slash her arm clean off. They drop down to the ground, laughing that soon every single limb they have will be on the floor. To their surprise, the girls don't seem bothered at all, and Mira asks Harley whether she has got the idea of how strong they are. Harley replies that she has, and they are even weaker than she had imagined. This pisses the twins off, who scream that they are the ones winning this battle. But to their horror, Mira grabs the fallen arm and eats it right in front of them. This scares the out of the twins, who have no idea how that is possible. So Mira decides to show them something better and rips her own head off, throwing it around like a ball. The twins are horrified and ask who the hell is she. Mira finally introduces herself and Harley as two ultra-rare level 7,777 cards. The twins are stunned to hear that and refuse to believe that something like that even exists, immediately deciding to attack them once again. but this time they don't even block their attacks, claiming that it's not worth the effort to block them. This really scares them, and they immediately start running. While Mira laughs like a maniac, Harley decides to end this and starts charging a powerful heat blast while Mira covers herself with a shield. Meanwhile, on the lower floor, Char is constantly on the offensive, sending bolts after bolts at Suzu, controlling their trajectory and even using a barrage of crossbow bolts all at once, hoping that it would do the trick. To his surprise, Suzu manages to get out of that without even a scratch, which excites him even more. And he tells Suzu that she should just leave the loser light guy and become his girlfriend. That was enough to get Suzu mad, though, as she starts glowing with anger, ready to kill the annoying elf. Back on the upper floor, the elves end up hitting a dead end and decide to move along the boundary to try and find the exit. But before they could do that, they start feeling the floor getting hotter. To their horror, a wave of heat hits them as Harley shoots her heat blast. The twins realize that they will burn to crisp, so they quickly start chanting a bunch of spells and create a huge ice wall to protect themselves. To their surprise, the ice wall melted, immediately forcing them to recreate it. They continue creating ice walls, but soon they run out of mana, and their entire armor starts melting in the intense heat. Soon they get completely consumed by the heat, disappearing from sight, and only then Harley stops. She soon realizes that she might have accidentally killed the two idiots, but Light wanted them alive. Thankfully, Mira tells her that Ellie used some protective enchantments so that these idiots won't die. If not for her, these two elves would have been charred to a crisp. The twins lay on the ground burned and defeated, begging for mercy. But Mira tells them that they will get the same mercy that they gave the humans and uses her tentacles to deep throat them, as Light wants to extract all the information from them before he makes them feel the most devastating pain ever. Back at the lower floor, Char finally realizes what he has done when Suzu shoots a bunch of bullets in the air and then blasts them all towards the elf. Char starts running for his life, trying to dodge all the bullets, but he realizes that he is outmatched beyond any doubt. He turns around to try and block the bullets with his own bolts, but it's of no use as soon a barrage of bullets hit him all over the body, leaving him bloodied and near death on the floor. Char begs for help, but only finds an enraged Suzu standing above him. She is not done yet though, and starts smashing his face in with her boot, telling him to die, and would have killed him for sure, if not for the gun talking some sense into her, telling her that Light wanted to know their full potential first before capturing them. Suzu immediately realizes that she has messed up and tries to heal Char so that he could fight again, but the gun tells her to let it go as he is too beaten up to do anything now. She starts crying at her mistake, while the gun tries to tell her that Light won't get mad at an honest mistake like this. Meanwhile, on a completely different floor, Jack finds Must all alone with his axe and tells him honestly that he is supposed to fight with him, but suggests that Must should drop in the towel because it isn't in his nature to pick on weaklings. Must gets annoyed at this, but keeps himself under control, claiming that Jack should be honored that he is going to die at the hands of an elf above level 1500. Jack tells him not to worry as he himself is level 7777, an ultra rare card at that. Must doesn't believe that, claiming that Jack should throw in a believable bluff, but Jack simply smiles, claiming that he should simply use his appraisal skill to verify it. He notices a look in Must's eyes and makes fun of him, asking whether he even has it or not. Must gets mad, claiming that he doesn't need to check a fraud idiot, and lunges at him with his axe, trying to get it over quick. But to his surprise, Jack swats it away like a fly. Must is beyond shocked at this, but thinks that it was just beginner's luck and starts trying to land a barrage of hits at him. Jack obviously easily deflects all the attacks, which confuses Jack as these attacks were supposed to be strong enough to even give Captain Hardy some trouble, but Hardy simply uses his fingers to blast him into the wall. Must comes out of the wall shocked to his core, but refuses to believe that a human could be that strong. He starts spouting nonsense about how humans are beneath them and deserve a fate worse than death. With that, he brings down his halberd, which turns out to be a magical weapon, and activates it. Jack realizes that the halberd is eating at the boy's soul and life to gain power, but Must doesn't seem to care. He shouts at the halberd to take as much as it wanted, but give him the power to defeat this human. And then, with every single bit of power he could muster, he lunges towards Jack, who simply uses his iron armor skill and blocks the attack just with his arm. With that, his entire body gets covered with a thick iron shield, and with a single punch, he sends Must flying into the wall, bloodied and unconscious. He walks over and picks up the boy, wondering whether he killed him, but thanks to Ellie's magic, everything seems to be fine, and he is still alive. On the upper floor, the last and final member of the White Knight, Captain Hardy, remains, who finally comes in contact with Naz, who smiles and takes out her sword. hoping for a good fight. Hardy stays calm and composed, making sure that he doesn't miss anything, which confuses Naz a little. She wonders whether Hardy is hard of hearing and shouts out again that she is the strongest here and will fight him. Hardy calmly looks at her and replies that he hears her well, and asks whether she is an enemy of his. Naz smiles and replies that she is indeed an enemy of hers, since her master doesn't like the White Knights and wants to get rid of them. Hardy maintains his composure and analyzes the situation. He notices that even though Naz looks young, she is not someone to be taken lightly, and if she is so devoted to her master, that would mean that her master is even stronger than her. He slowly takes out his sword, thinking that it doesn't really matter whether her master is stronger than her though, because no one is stronger than him. Naz simply smiles and calls him forward so that they can have a good battle before she beats him and drags him to her master. Hardy stands and checks her armor keenly, realizing that it is infused with magic at a lot of points, and even the greatsword, which should be incredibly heavy, seems like nothing in her hand as she swings it around like a small stick. It's clear that Naz has inhuman strength, but he must test her to know the limits of this strength. Naz, being the impatient girl she is, decides to go with the first move since Hardy is being too slow. So she tells him to get his guard up, and with that, she wings her sword to create a massive shockwave towards Hardy. The shockwave is so strong that it shatters Hardy's sword cleanly in half and cuts him across the body before blasting the wall behind him completely open. Hardy goes into a shocked state and simply slumps over to the ground, unable to believe what just happened as the walls behind him crumble. Naz is scared as hell and immediately goes on to check whether Hardy is alive or not, worried that she might get scolded if the man dies. Ellie's voice comes booming as she scolds Naz for breaking the walls to her tower, and Naz immediately tries to cover her mistakes, claiming that it's just a scratch and that the wall is perfectly fine. Light simply smiles as Ellie tells Naz that she made the walls of this floor twice as strong as any other because of her. But she even managed to break through this, which now she will have to repair using her mana. Naz apologizes once again, promising that this won't happen again, when she hears a small whisper coming from Hardy. She turns around and notices that he starts using a healing spell on himself and stands up once again with his broken sword in his hand. Ellie warns Naz to go easy this time and not to cause any more destruction. Naz promises to be more careful this time and turns towards Hardy, who apologizes to her for not taking her seriously enough and promises that he will now treat her as a proper opponent and give his all. With that, he pulls out a move from Jujutsu Kaisen and uses domain expansion on Naz, causing her to get entrapped in a soundless barrier, making everything around her quiet. Hardy knows that his barrier not only gives him a great advantage, but also saps out the abilities of his opponents and uses that to fuel his own strength by multiple times. With that, his body floods with energy, and he uses his mana to create a magical blade which is more or less transparent, which makes it difficult for his opponent to defend against. Naz is a bit surprised at this as she has never seen anything like this ever before, and Hardy knows that he must have caught her off guard since this is his most powerful move, which he usually never has to use. He suddenly notices that Naz has put her sword back in her shield and gets ready for a fist fight, which confuses Hardy at first. But then he thinks that Naz probably can't understand the type of sword he is using and is trying to go for hand-to-hand combat. He gets confident in his strategy, knowing that Naz is not that experienced and will probably rush in for an attack, and that's when he will chop her cleanly in two. Even though he was correct about the first part, he couldn't even fathom the speed of Naz when she appeared in front of him, and even before he could blink, she landed a devastating punch, blasting him straight into the wall. Naz gets incredibly happy that this time the wall didn't break, and the only reason she put away her sword was so that she could control her strength. Ellie still scolds him for leaving such a big crater in the wall, which now she has to fix, and tells her to quickly get Hardy and return back to the top of the tower. Light looks at Ellie and asks whether she is okay, since keeping up a tower this big must consume a lot of energy. Ellie replies that she get weak in the knees sometimes, but she can hold it for much longer if she wants to. Light thanks her, claiming that it won't be necessary since their guests seem to be at the gate itself. Right on cue, Light opens the door and finds Sasha and Mikhail standing behind it. Light greets Sasha, and Sasha immediately recognizes him as the boy she saw in the market who had a burnt face. Mikhail asks whether Sasha knows him, and Sasha replies that she has only met him once in the market. Sasha gets annoyed and tells Light to control his tongue as he is just a human and should immediately bring them refreshments. Light smiles, replying that he liked her much better when she was nice to him. Sasha makes a confused face, claiming that she will never be nice to a piece of shit human when Light slowly takes out her mask, and soon Sasha's voice gets stuck in her throat. Light claims that it has been 3 years since they last met on good terms, but Sasha is too shaken to speak, claiming that this is impossible and asks what happened to all the scars she saw. Light smiles, claiming that those scars were just an illusion and he has stopped his own aging so he could remember the people who wronged him better. She can't believe her own ears when Mikhail asks Sasha whether this boy is the same one who she was tasked with killing, the one who was supposed to be a probable master candidate. Sasha is still dumbstruck, but he finally reveals that when they attacked him, he ended up accidentally triggering a teleportation trap and was sent to the lowest level of the abyss, where he somehow survived and has been planning for the past 3 years to exact his revenge on everyone who wronged him. Sasha doesn't know what to say, but Mikhail suddenly starts laughing, claiming that this was the best wedding gift he could have hoped for, and luck must really be on their side today. Sasha is confused, asking what is he talking about, but Mikhail explains that when they kill the mastermind which threatened the kingdom with a dragon and retrieve the technology that built this magnificent tower, they will gain untold influence over the kingdom and loads of riches and titles. Sasha asks what if they learn about the fact that she lied about killing Light personally and making sure that he was dead. Mikhail replies that they will follow the YouTuber strategy that after doing something wrong, just refuse to address it and everything will be okay. This fills her with confidence, and she claims that Mikhail is a genius. She turns towards Light and starts cussing him out, claiming that a filthy human like him would be crushed beneath their feet like an insect from a filthy bog. Light doesn't reply to her and simply gets up and picks his staff before telling Ellie and the furry to not intervene no matter what. He walks up to the couple and tells Sasha that he will celebrate their marriage by his own revenge, but Sasha simply laughs, claiming that she is even stronger than she was before and has surpassed level 500. Moreover, she takes out a golden musical instrument, which Light recognizes as a legendary class device. Sasha starts playing the flute, and immediately a bunch of magic circles appear beneath them, and 2 huge deities emerge from it. The angelic beings are Phantasma-class summons, whatever the hell that means, and the angel man immediately attacks Light. Light dodges the attack without any issue before turning back for a counterattack. The angel man realizes that he is in trouble and immediately engages his shield, but it's not strong enough to stop Light, and he breaks through the shield, even taking an arm down. He comes back to the floor, thinking about how he wanted to kill the summon with just one attack, but it seems like he will have to put on a show. Sasha is horrified at what Light was just able to do, since he is supposed to be a mere level 15 human. Light smiles at that, and claims that he forgot to mention, but he himself has gotten a little stronger than he was earlier, and reveals his stats. Sasha is shocked to see that Light is level 999 and starts freaking out, but Mikhail remains calm, claiming that she shouldn't fall for his obvious lies because level 999 is nothing more than a fantasy and his previous strike was merely enabled by some special magical item. Sasha is the most gullible and delusional bitch there is and immediately believes in Mikhail, telling her angels to take out Light as soon as possible. Light decides to prove his levels and starts releasing one spell after the other, first using Dust Devil to blind them, then using Shadowbind to stop them in place, followed by Ice Shard to stop the magical healing and Fire Arrows to deal an incredible amount of damage. To his surprise though, Sasha manages to resummon them immediately without an issue, and claims that she can do that as many times as she wants without really using that much magic. Light realizes that these angels are more troublesome than he initially thought, so he decides to go straight to the source. Within an instant, he appears in front of Sasha and tries to land a brutal blow, but he gets blocked by Mick, who tells him to keep his filthy hands off the girl. Light claims that he is surprised that Mikhail's shield could block an attack by him, but Mikhail simply smiles, claiming it can do more than just block. Just then, an immense amount of energy releases from the shield, pushing Light back. Light wonders whether that was a magic attack or just a shield bash. Mikhail laughs at his confusion, claiming that his shield is a holy item which blocks the attacks of all the sinners and reflects it back at them. But that's not it, as he can also increase the stats of his allies by a lot. Suddenly, the angels start looking like they are on hella steroids. Sasha laughs, claiming that she can keep summoning the angels and Mikhail can defend her and boost the angels, which means that Light has no more options but to surrender immediately. Light starts laughing like a maniac, claiming that now is the time when he will show them what true despair looks like. With that, he starts chanting a spell which scares even Ellie and the furry, who tell him not to use that ability. But Light doesn't care. He releases all the seals over his own magic and summons the demon-class weapon Gungnir, whose aura is so strong that Mikhail and Sasha damn near piss their pants. Mick immediately realizes that this is bad news and tells Sasha to attack him. Sasha sends his angels on him, but the moment the angel touches him, its sword shatters and no healing magic is able to bring it back. Light keeps walking forward, so the tanky angel takes out his shield, but Light simply uses a light thrust with his spear to completely evaporate all the angels without breaking a sweat. He continues walking, but realizes that the power of this weapon is hurting his hand as well. But he decides that he is willing to sacrifice an arm or two if that means showing these elves what true despair looks like. Sasha is beyond terrified and immediately summons an archangel, which is bigger and stronger than all the others combined. The archangel immediately uses one of his strongest spells, while Sasha laughs, claiming that there is no way Light can survive that. But Light doesn't even defend against it, as the magic completely nullifies once it reaches him. Sasha is horrified and shouts at the angel to repeat the magic, but no matter how many times the archangel repeated the spell, it was of no use as Light kept walking forward without even trying to defend himself. He laughs at Sasha's despair, telling her to try everything she wants, but no matter what happens, she is going to die at his hands tonight, and not even God can save her. Sasha is completely overwhelmed by Light's advance and tries to use her Archangel's best ability, but it's of no use since Light is too overpowered at this point. Light casually swats her poor attempts at self-defense away, and that was enough to destroy her Archangel completely. Mikhail immediately tells her to resummon the Archangels again, but to her surprise and horror, no angels get summoned this time. Light stands there with his lance blazing with a dark, mysterious energy when suddenly the magical flute turns to ashes right in her hands and falls completely to pieces. Mikhail and Sasha both are completely stunned without any words, while Light tells them that all he did was flex the power of his lance a little, but that was enough to destroy a Phantasma-class weapon. Mikhail refuses to believe this, claiming that nothing should be able to defeat a Phantasma-class weapon, let alone a spear wielded by a puny human. Light smiles at that, claiming that the puny spear in his hands is a Genesis-class weapon capable of even killing the most divine forces in the heavens. Mikhail is unable to believe what he was hearing, so he simply refuses to accept the truth, just like my ex, and decides to live in delusion, claiming that Genesis-class weapons are just a myth, and no one in the world has ever seen one. He claims that only the stupidest person would make such outlandish lies as a bluff. Sasha supports him in this, claiming that her Phantasma-grade weapon broke only by a stroke of luck and Light won't get so lucky again. With that, even Mikhail starts growing some balls, claiming that regardless of what Light throws at him, his shield of retribution will reflect everything back at him, which means that Light has no chances of winning against them. Light decides that he has heard enough and rushes in with an attack so powerful that it took everything that Mikhail had just to try and protect themselves from the shockwaves. Light laughs at their struggle, taunting Mikhail, shouting at him to prove himself, and the saying that elves are better than human beings. Mikhail can't even utter a single word as he grits his teeth and tries to withstand the attack, but it's of no use, and soon his shield crosses the limit and breaks into a 1,000 pieces, sending both Mikhail and Sasha to the ground. It finally dawns upon Mikhail that Light is not bluffing after all, so he stands back up to his feet, claiming that Light is too powerful to be a normal human, and there is no other explanation apart from the fact that Light is none other than the Maestro Reborn. Light tells him to keep his shitty labels to himself, claiming that he doesn't even know what a maestro is, and they are the one who throw this label around. Mikhail immediately changes his demeanor, however, claiming that regardless of whether Light is a maestro or not, he is clearly too dangerous to live and must be killed at once. He brags that while he would love to deal with a peasant human like Light himself, the finding of the maestro must be reported to the queen at once. With that, he takes out a feather, and with a smile tells Light that he will be dealt with soon enough. He quickly tries to use his teleportation magic, but to his surprise, nothing happens. He gets terrified and starts spamming the teleportation magic, but it's of no use as Light laughs and tells him that they are trapped here with him, as all kinds of teleportation magic is nullified in this castle. Mikhail again goes on a stupid rant about how no magic in the world is capable of stopping teleportation magic. Light frowns and turns towards Ellie, who claims that the elf is technically correct, that no magic exists which can block teleportation magic. The enchantment on this particular tower is a new spell of her own creations. Mikhail is left shocked as he has never heard of anyone in this age who can create new magical spells. Sasha starts panicking, but her tells her not to worry, as the White Knights will definitely come to their aid, and Captain Hardy is above level 3000. So Light would be easy pickings for him. He tells Light to let them go this instance, and maybe Captain Hardy would go a little easy on them. otherwise he would turn them to ashes in the blink of an eye. Light laughs at the thought about Hardy helping these idiots, and with that, he finally invites all the guests inside. Right at the cue, all of his summons enter the room, sending both Mikhail and Sasha in shock as they spot the entire crew of White Knights damned near dead in front of them. Jack immediately notices the spear in Light's hands and knows what kind of damage it must be doing to Light. But Light tells him not to worry and turns his attention back towards Mikhail, asking him who is going to save them now. Like a total loser, Mikhail immediately goes to his knees and tells Light that he has a very interesting proposal. Light decides to hear him out, and Mikhail immediately claims that he knows every single thing about the Elven Kingdom and can join forces to take over the entire Elven Kingdom. Sasha can't believe her ears and stares at Mikhail blankly, while Mikhail claims that all Light needs to do is say the word and he will gladly help him win the throne. Light tells him that he is not even remotely interested in their shitty throne, and all he cares about is his revenge and to find out the truth about the Maestro. Mikhail immediately backs up, putting Sasha at the front, claiming that he was never a part of the plan that involved trying to kill him, so this has nothing to do with him, and he can easily take his revenge on Sasha. She can't believe her ears and asks Mikhail whether he is just going to leave her to die here. Mikhail shouts at her to shut her up, calling her a hoe, and tells him not to drag him in the mess created by her in the first place. He tells her straight to the face that he was never happy about the engagement, and he only agreed because he was interested in her Phantasma class weapon. Sasha starts crying, claiming that Mikhail told her so many times about his love for him. But Mikhail shuts her up, claiming that she is just a common wench who forgot her position and climbed too high in the court. He immediately turns back to Light and asks whether he should kill the good-for-nothing bitch for him. But Light simply tells him that he is tired of his bullshit and passes the job to Ellie. The mage immediately steps up, claiming that she was waiting for this moment for a while now. Mikhail immediately starts talking about how he has turned into a Light fanboy now and will worship him forever. But Ellie doesn't care and tells him that his death is going to be long and painful. Mikhail starts trying to run after hearing this, but obviously there is no way for him to escape, and Ellie catches up to him within seconds and uses her incantation to bind him in a maze of thorny branches. With that, Light turns towards Sasha, who realizes that her fielding is set and all her teammates almost dead. She quickly uses the tried and tested tactics of my ex and starts reminding Light about how 3 years earlier, whenever he would remember his home and cry, she was the one who came to comfort him. She tells him that she used to wipe away his tears and hug him tight, and even stood up for him if anyone tried to bully him in the group. Light smiles and tells her that she did all that, but none of that was ever real. She did all that to keep up appearances, and once he was of no use to them, she discarded him like everyone else. She tries once again, claiming that she knows Light had a crush on her and claims that even she had feelings for him all along and would let him clap them cheeks whenever he wants. With that, she begs him to kill everyone else but spare her. This was enough to get the furry furious, who immediately jumps in front of her, claiming that she is going to make sure that her beasts eat her alive in the most painful way possible. Light tells her to back down and turns his attention back towards Sasha. He tells her that he is not going to kill her right now as he has other plans. Until then, Sasha is going to stay in the abyss feeling the most pain imaginable. With that, he turns around, but remembers the fact that this bitch shot him through the leg back in the dungeons, so he returns the favor. With that, while she was struggling on the ground, the goth woman comes up and gobbles her whole to be tortured later. Just as he was done, Light realizes that he clearly overplayed his hand as he falls over from exhaustion. When he finally wakes up, he finds himself in the middle of the abyss, back in his bed with May by his side. He tries to get up, but May tells him to rest some more, and with tears in her eyes, tells him to take better care of himself since he is in charge of an entire kingdom of people at this point, not to mention all the summons that are ready to die for him in an instant. Back in the Elven Kingdom, a council is called to discuss the missing White Knights, and the Queen, who is also the mother of Captain Hardy, is furious at the fact that they have no idea where her son and the rest of the White Knights are. Just then, a soldier bursts into the room, claiming that a bunch of dragons are riding into the city at this very moment. The Queen rushes to the windows and spots a huge wave of dragons entering the city unobstructed, when suddenly they hear the voice of Ellie booming through the skies. She claims to be the witch of the magical tower and reveals that the stupid idiots known as the White Knights are taken as hostages. With that, she demands to talk to the commander in charge for the knights, or else the entire city will be destroyed by her dragons at a moment's notice. To make sure that these people understand the gravity of the situation, She shows them the power of her magical beasts, as with just a single fire blast, they turn a mountain into fine dust. The queen is forced to make an appearance after this, so Ellie lands in the courtyard on her dragon, where she immediately gets surrounded by a bunch of guards. The queen orders Ellie to release the white knights this very instant, but Ellie tells her to shut her ugly ass up, since she is no one to command him. She starts moving towards the queen, and immediately the guards try to attack her. But without even lifting a single finger, Ellie uses her magic to create blood-sucking trees that destroy every single soldier around her. The queen tries to run away, but it is of no use, and Ellie catches her immediately and uses her magic to search her memories for answers about the maestro. Unfortunately, she doesn't find anything interesting, so she tells her that the White Knights will remain as hostages for further questioning, and orders the queen to release every single human slave in the city, as now the humans are going to rule themselves. With that, she returns back to the tower, where finally Light also arrives to see the progress. He is amazed to see that already a small population of humans has gathered around the tower and are thriving. He turns towards his summons and tells them honestly that earlier he planned to get his revenge and then destroy the entire world. But now he thinks that it wouldn't be fair for other humans, so instead, he is going to take his revenge and then build a better world for all the humans to live in peacefully. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.